Your BetQL Sunday service starts now. With Sean Morash.
I will punch you in your stupid face, and I hate the Knicks. I hate their fans.
And Pat Boyle.
That's probably why I'm not a GM in the NFL, but if I was, I would probably take a huge swing on Michael Penix.
Turning your faith into fortune.
Few things in the gambling world I can't wait to bet more than the Jets under right now.
While serving up hot cakes and hot takes.
If Chet Holmgren was on that team, he's probably putting up better numbers than Wemby.
It's BetQL 5-Star Weekend, presented by BetMGM.
Good morning, ladies and gents, boys and girls, the kingdom of wagertainment. It's BetQL's 5-Star Weekend. Sean Morash and Patrick Boyle here on this Sunday, May 5th. Oh, it just hit me in this moment. It's Cinco de Mayo. Let's go. Let's go. The margaritas be flowing. What's up, Patty? How are you?
Ah, la, 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 bamba, da, 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 da. Hola, ¿cómo estás, Sean? Good morning. Buenos dias. Buenas tardes.
Good
Buenos
morning.
noches. Buenos, all of the buenoses.
So I've had a wild couple days, Pat, and this is really just for me, but just to show you how out of touch I am. We gathering today, big Rangers Hurricanes game one. You know how we do if you follow me. We love getting together, the family, the friends. We all love Ranger playoff hockey together. And now it's just hit me why my sister said I'll get the stuff to make tacos. I was like, all right, we'll have tacos for dinner. Didn't realize, didn't connect the dots, and here we are, and now I'm an idiot. Chips and salsa, it is. All right, so Patty, hope you've had a good week of bets before we lay out the day. And any nice hits this week?
Yeah, for sure. Knicks series winner. Knicks minus 1.5 games, which I honestly was sweating big time. You know, the boisterous Knicks fan in me was thinking, sure, we'll go out and close them on the road again in Philly, no problem. Did it in Game 4, do it in Game 6. And then when the Knicks are up 33-11 in the first quarter, only then to be trailing in the second quarter, yeah, I was a little nervous, but that cashes. Knicks series winner. Knicks minus 1.5 games at plus 210. I wish that the Clippers could have showed a little bit more fight because I do think the Mavs would have crushed them. I had Mavs in 7 at plus 700. And I wish the Lakers could have, not blown one of the other 3 double-digit leads they had, because over 5.5 games with the Nuggets, I thought was a pretty good bet. But alas, we move on, and Here we are.
Here we are. We came one game short of our Pacers and 7 bet that we gave away 2 weeks ago as well. I took a licking live last night. Jumped in, leaves, getting positive money. Why I would do that? They lose on a Pasternak goal there in overtime. I also bet the game to go at least 2 overtimes once it went to overtime. I was dumping the money that I won, also in a predicament here. I go to my apps yesterday. I'm very behind. I had spent 2 days basically away from home handling work stuff. I was down in Philly, Knicks, Sixers. So, and we're leaving as a family. I'm not here next week. It's my 10-year anniversary. We're going out to Disneyland in San Diego. Me, my wife, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old getting on a 6-hour airplane from New York on Tuesday morning very early. I say that to say yesterday was a very tight pivot day for me. It was, I'm home after being away for 2 days, and I'm essentially going to work Monday and not coming home for 8 days. So I had to do a lot of packing, a lot of rallying. I didn't have time to really go through the horse stuff for the Derby ahead of these bets. Had my kids go, you know what? We're looking at names. We're looking at numbers. We're going old school here. We're not actually going to do analyzing. My 2-year-old picked the number 3 horse. Loved the Mystic Dan. We put some shekels on it like I did for everybody. She hit, and it was a very nice payout. Very nice payout.
Wow.
Here's the degenerate in me, though, Pat. My wife goes, that's great. We'll transfer that money right over to her account. And I'm thinking to myself, well, it's just, kind of staying in my betting account. It was kind of money for me. And then my wife went to sleep, and I live bet the Leafs in the game to go to double overtime with some of those winnings. So, Shawnee's going to have to figure that one out later. I think I owe my 2-year-old, so don't be in that spot. It's responsible gaming, folks. And away we go. That's my little betting story from yesterday. So how would you handle that? Tweet at me at Sean Morash. Okay, here we go. We know how we do at the top of each and every hour on this 3-hour ordeal. Oh, boy. We kind of have a similar hot take to start hour number one. It's hot takes and hot cakes. Actually, an opposite.
Good morning, people. Boy, do I need some hot takes and hot cakes. Pat Boyle and Sean Marash, give it to them.
All right, it is a pivot kind of weekend, and you get these every 2 weeks or so in the spring where you kind of wrap up the round from an NHL or an NBA sport, but also start the other. And we are seeing the wrap up here in the NBA yesterday, though we saw the startup. So we'll get Magic and Cavs going into Game 7. We'll talk about that later on in the show. But we had Game 1, Nuggets, Timberwolves. The dank Nuggies, they looked like last night, as they trailed early, came back to take a lead, almost like that, after whatever it was, the 14, 16-point lead. And then there was Anthony Edwards all throughout that second half, just continuing to establish himself as, frankly, a top 3 player in today's NBA. And it's very quickly starting to feel like a spring for Anthony Edwards to put him on the map with way more staying power than the spring that was Trae Young's of a couple of years ago, clearly, because that's how special Anthony Edwards is. I say this in a setup because I'm not going to take Pat's thunder here. I called this postseason the Denver Nugget Invitational. And I still feel that way. The Nuggets didn't make anything easy last year at all, including that Laker Western Conference Final Series. I just sit here and I watch last night, and look, this is going to be the Nuggets match in this postseason. This, I believe, still will be their toughest series, and that includes a potential date with a really good Oklahoma City Thunder team coming up in the Western Conference Final. Not to get too ahead of ourselves, I'm not necessarily buying the Mavs just yet, but hear me out. I think that the winner of this series is going to win the NBA Finals, and so much so confidence-wise that when you watch that game and the punches back and forth, with all due respect to the grit and the heart that is the New York Knicks, and give them a hell of a lot of credit coming back from that heartbreak in Game 5 and what they did in Game 6. With all due respect to the Boston Celtics, who I still think are clear-cut better than everybody else, especially with how can you trust Porzingis' health through what rest of the way. Look, you're not going to do this literally. You're not even going to do this figuratively, but I'm telling you, if you have an NBA Champions ticket coming out of the Eastern Conference and you watch Game 1 last night, rip it the hell up, okay? Because none of those teams left in the East are beating these two. And I guess I would probably extend that towards the Oklahoma City Thunder, but how would you not like a Celtic team in that series? I think we're living in the NBA Finals right now between the T-Wolves and Nuggets. Pat Boyle?
Yeah, I disagree. Shawnee.
Shocking.
Well, yes, because I think the Oklahoma City Thunder are coming out of the West, and they are underdogs against the Dallas Mavericks in that series. The last time I checked,
Crazy.
I don't know if the odds have changed. Game 1, I believe, is not till Tuesday, but you might see a hot cake. You might see an official bet from me later in the show on that.
By the way,
go ahead.
Before you continue, just a quick note on that. This is where the NBA clumsily spaces out series the wrong way because they need to fill a Saturday night TV time there with TNT. They're rushing to play Game 2 of Nuggets Timberwolves Monday. You cannot have 2 games in the holster for a series in the West where their potential winner opponent hasn't even started their series until the following night. I get it, TV and all of that. The NBA gets real clunky when we get to round 2 and they're spacing out a schedule.
Sure, I can see that, but I'm pretty sure that if there were to be Game 6s and Game 7s, they are one day after another. So they do backload it correctly. But yes, having 2 games in one series before you have Game 1 in another, not great. Not ideal, but what are you going to do? Both those teams won very easily in the first round, and the Thunder, who swept New Orleans, had to wait for for the Clippers, for the Mavericks to finish off the Clippers. So, but I disagree. I think the Thunder are coming out of the West. I think they're the most underrated 1 seed in a long time. I said that last week on our show. I think SGA is an absolute stud and should have won the MVP this year. And I think that they are a deeper, faster, more athletic, better shooting team than anybody else in the Western Conference. I also do think the Knicks could win the NBA championship, Sean. And if not them, then obviously everybody's front-running pick, the Boston Celtics. I don't think I'd be totally shocked if the 64-win team ends up winning the finals this year with how deep they are, if Porzingis could stay healthy. But I disagree with you, and I disagree that it could be the Nuggets because I think their reign ends here. I said it last week. Only 7 days. What did I say? I said now is the time to fade the Thunder. When a lot of smart folks here on not even forget Betql. A lot of people in general thinking, oh, the Nuggets are going to repeat. That's it. When the Lakers are not that good. They were not that good yet again. They don't play defense. They fired their coach who couldn't figure out the rotations. Their general manager, Rob Pelinka, is the most overrated GM in basketball. Puts together a team that features D'Angelo Russell and a bunch of other scrubs outside of LeBron James and Anthony Davis and Austin Reeves. Rui Hachimura last year, who put his name on the map in the postseason. Was he invisible for the first 5 games of that series? That's neither here nor there. So I think a lot of people watched what the Nuggets did to the Lakers for the second year in a row and said, wow, what a great series. The Lakers should have won. No, the Lakers were an above average team that once again basically was in the play-in tournament all season long, and the Nuggets did not play that well. So that's why I thought that this is the time to fade the Nuggets, and I'm doubling down now. Their reign ends here. So, yeah, sure, it's a game in. You're not going to get as good of a price, and I actually have to check a live price here. But this is just more so a take than a bet than anything. And that's that the Timberwolves are going to win this series. And they're probably going to win it in 6. They've already stolen home court advantage. Anthony Edwards is an absolute dog. And, again, just reaffirming what we already know. But for him to accomplish everything he did against the Suns team that does play zero defense and that is filled with a bunch of softies like Kevin Durant, for him then to go on the road against the reigning NBA champions and drop 43-7 while shooting 17 for 29 in game 1. He just keeps taking steps up and up and up the ladder to the point where, again, I think he's one of the best 5 players in the NBA. And I don't think many people would disagree with that. And this team is so tough. This team is so tough and resilient. They're a top 5 team in rebounding and defense in the season this year. And this is just a tough matchup for Denver. Shout out, by the way, again to Chris Finchie, who tears his patella tendon in their last game. The guy basically needs surgery, and here he is on the sideline for game 1, coaching his ass off. So, that's just this team embodies their head coach. And a lot of people clown them, Sean, when they got Rudy Gobert and traded 4 first-round draft picks for him. And I can understand it, but he is honestly a nightmare matchup in this series because they have Karl Anthony Towns guarding Nikola Jokic and slowing him down just enough to where you have Rudy Gobert just playing free safety. And how many of those alley-oops to Aaron Gordon that they used to seize momentum and dominate the Lakers with did he shut down, stuffing things at the rim, shutting stuff down, no fly zone for Rudy Gobert. And then 6th man of the year, you wonder why. Naz Reid, who struggled for most of that game. And then in the 4th quarter, lights it up with a couple electrifying dunks and a couple of big threes, 16 points for him. That was the difference. And they have a true point guard, Mike Conley, like the Lakers don't have. They don't have a point guard. So Mike Conley facilitating that offense, being a plus 20 while also shooting efficiently. Yeah, this is a very dangerous team. That, and coupled with the fact that I don't think the Nuggets are good enough. They're not as good as they were last year. You wonder why it's tough to repeat in the NBA. I mean, you're seeing it. So, Minnie's taking this series.
Again, I think a massive overreaction, but I think these are the 2 best teams regardless. Right now, over BetMGM, minus 120, the odds for the Wolves here to win the series. Finals odds, though, the Wolves still 6-1, plus 600 to win the finals. The Nuggets plus 425. So interesting there. T-Wolves favored to win this series. But if you want to look ahead to get out and go win the finals, the Nuggets would still be favored over the Wolves in that scenario. Knicks sitting at 10-1. I think Patty's absolutely nuts for thinking this Knicks team playing with 7 guys who already feels out of gas has a chance of winning the finals. But more on them in just a moment. Obviously, we have a big Game 7 coming your way in about 4 hours in what I would label the most boring 7-game series of all time, but we had some juice on Friday night with Donovan Mitchell going absolutely off. But the Magic and Cavs find themselves in a Game 7 in Cleveland, 1 p.m. Eastern, the only NBA action you will get on the slate before, of course, we pivot to the Knicks in Indiana in a Game 1 on Monday night. It is postseason fever. Also, real quickly, last night, Game 7 on the ice. Incredible 0-0 entering the 3rd period. The Leafs score and almost immediately get the Bruins to answer. The game goes to overtime. And, of course, as it is in hockey, an awkward bounce to the boards takes David Pastrnak right in front of the net, and he buries one. And the Bruins avoid being the first team in 4 major sports in postseason history to blow 3-1 series lead in back-to-back years. That was a stat that popped up watching that game. That might have been, outside of DiMaggio's hit streak and Cal Ripken's consecutive game streak, that might have been a record I didn't know existed. I know those did. That I look at and go, is that ever going to happen? If it didn't happen last night, it's almost incredible that it hasn't happened. Makes me think it's that hard to happen. Again, being a team that blows a 3-1 series lead in back-to-back postseasons. But congrats. The Bruins are going on to play the Florida Panthers. And we get a Game 7 tonight between the Golden Knights and the Dallas Stars. All right. More on that Nick Pacer series. Later on, we give you some home run losing bets, I'm sure, for Mario especially. And our Sunday Scaries Boils Beef Bet. Fun Sunday ahead here. It's BetQL's 5-Star Weekend presented by BetMGM.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM. Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
5-Star Weekend. Sean Morash, Pat Boyle here with you. The playoffs continue to churn on at Cinco de Mayo. It's Cinco de Mayo. I just got so caught up. We do I should have said it's my show bit. We do a show bit list at 5 o'clock every day on WFAN. I call everything dumb, and that's like, I realize people probably take that literally. It's just my stupid slang way. We do something called Cinco de Five-O, where I do a list at 5 o'clock every day, and I think I just went to call Cinco de Mayo, Cinco de Five-O. So that's very insidey radio for you. All right, before we get to Knicks Pacers previewing, we need a gentleman's counsel here. We need a gentleman's counsel. I've made a mistake. I apologize. It is about to be my 10-year wedding anniversary at the end of the month, May 23rd. Shout out to my wife, Danielle, who brings me that lovely Sunday breakfast you see every morning. She is a warrior at home with 2 young kids while I work later hours in radio and all over the place. All right, I plopped this all up to understand I could be putting my foot in the mouth here. She wanted to take our first big flight trip with a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. Since we've had my kids, a lot of drivable trips here in the Northeast, a lot of Great Wolf Lodge hits, Hershey Park hits, Lake George, that kind of stuff up in the New York area. So we have never been to San Diego, California. We decided, hey, pin on the map. We're going to head out there, head to a beach resort. It has turned into taking the kids to Disneyland in Anaheim for the first half of the trip. Now, between my fellow co-hosts on WFAN and her coworkers at work, there was only between May and the start of football season 3 potential weeks that would have worked out for us to go. One of those weeks would have fallen during the NBA Finals and Stanley Cup. And then this week was the week we circled, and I said, I understand it's the playoffs. Last year, the Rangers broke my heart in round 1, but I can't not do it now. So we're going to go. I did not factor in that we're going 3 hours behind. It's California. I knew I'd be able to watch the hockey. Having games at 4 o'clock local time sounds like a sweet deal until you have a 4-year-old and 2-year-old that need to eat dinner by 5:30, and you're walking around theme parks and all of that. I have dinner with Goofy on my schedule for Tuesday at 5:30 local time in California, 8:30 Eastern time, Pat Boyle. That is smack dab in the middle of my Rangers game 2 versus the Hurricanes. I have practiced yesterday. I have practiced Friday. I have my local cable app. I'll just tell you, I have DirecTV on my phone. I have practiced going to my settings on my iPhone and muting messages, Facebook messages, tweets, Instagram, to the point I have to actually click into those apps, including the messages, to see if anybody's actually texted me. So I am confident that I have the technology with me to be able to watch Rangers Hurricanes games 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to be away for on my phone on delay. I have no other choice, right? I have to be disciplined with the phone, which is so hard in 2024. Am I making a massive mistake saying yes to this vacation? Should I have taken the fight and said, we can't go to Disney or California with our kids?
No, you're a good man. You're a good husband. You're a good father. To put a little Long Island accent on father, because that's how everybody on Long Island says it. Yeah, I don't know why you guys add a W in between the A and the T, but you do. So that's how, we rock and roll.
Coffee.
Well, I think that's a tri-state area. It's a Jersey, New York thing. Yeah. The coffee. But it's the father and bother that I don't understand where that originated. But either way, you're a good father. You're a good husband. And like you said, there was really only 3 weeks that you could do it. So, yeah, a bit unfortunate that the Stanley Cup playoffs, once we hit the second round, like, it's the first 5 games. There's no 2-day break. It's not like,
I know.
There's only a 1-day break. So like you said, you're going to be away for 4 games of that series, and you're on the West Coast. So I just hope that Goofy and the rest of Mickey Mouse's friends and characters either would be okay with you watching the game while your kiddies are having a grand old time, or, like you said, you're going to have to make the tough decision, watch it on delay, not be active on social media, and mute all your texts until you watch the game. That's a tough spot to be in. This is really going to be a challenge for you, man.
It is. It is, man. And by the way, had I just gone to Disney World, the East Coast, not a big deal, right? Like 7 o'clock, we could probably wind the kids down, get in the hotel, I throw the game on, let's go. But it's smack dab in the middle of stuff. And to make matters worse, Game 5 is our last night on vacation. So that's May 13th. Happens to be my birthday. And I'm not telling you guys that because, oh, happy birthday, Sean. I don't care about the happy birthdays. Part of my plan on this trip was, and actually why I picked this week as opposed to the other second week that would have been available, was the Padres being home. I have Padres Rockies tickets, and my wife, basically figured the whole plan out to do that for my birthday, which that's my only danger. They're not going to flash a hockey score in Petco Park, or I'm not going to walk past the TV in the concourse, you would think, right?
I would highly doubt that at a Padres game that you're going to be in danger of seeing a score from New York and Carolina. I think you're going to be okay. I think you're going to be okay. I don't think you're going to have your birthday spoiled, but man, this is yeah. Like you said, you only had 3 weekends to pick. It's a tough one. Your birthday and your wedding anniversary both fall within the same week.
Yeah.
And you're 3 hours behind. Talk about a terror. You're really going to be on it if the Rangers don't do well, and you got to watch that to end your nights on delay, and they're getting their butts kicked by the Hurricanes.
No doubt about it. It's a real Mickey Mouse operation. But thank you for bearing with me. If you have any advice, if fathers have been through this, at Sean Morash, you can find me on Twitter. All right, let's get into the NBA postseason. The Knicks and Pacers right now. The series winner, the Knicks, are prohibitive favorites, minus 275, plus 225 on the money line for the Pacers. You have some exact games odds, plus 500 for a game just for the series just to be over in 4. I would assume, though, at that point, you'd rather take Knicks in 4 at plus 575. And obviously, they incrementally go down, swerve up. If you think this is a 7-game series, plus 230. Pacers at, 10 to 1, 100 to, what is it? Plus 1,000. See, this is where Boyle screws me up. I like saying the plus numbers.
I like saying the plus numbers. I'm the one that doesn't like the whatever to 1.
Oh, okay. I like the plus numbers. All right. Who likes the whatever?
I like the plus numbers.
Okay.
You were the one last week that says, I like the 30 to 1 or whatever to 1. You basically take 2 zeros off whatever it is. So if it's plus 1,000, that's 10 to 1. Yes, you did.
I don't know what. Wow. I've changed my mindset on that because I feel like, okay. You know what? I'm going to take my L there. Bottom line is this. Boyle likes plus-size women. I like plus numbers. And away we go. Boyle, I know that you're a Nick Homer here, and that's fine. Like, we all could be homers of our teams. I believe the Knicks will win this series. And obviously, I don't believe that you get any juice at minus 275 for betting them to win the series. So, to me, it becomes exact games. I think the Pacers are a lot more live in this situation. They're a little deeper. I think they'll be tougher here, even than the Sixers were, and those games were wild. I do worry about the Knicks and their gas, man. Only playing 7 guys, essentially, unless Precious Achiuwa steps up and gets on the court. I think that put it this way, gut feeling, I think the Knicks win the series. But I do think that this is going to be a lot more difficult series than that simple favorited number at minus 275 says. I think we're looking at another 6 and dare I say 7 gamer where the Knicks have a moment and get to the Eastern Conference Final. And I'm looking at that down the line of odds here. I don't think the Knicks are going to get off scot-free and easy. And therefore, give me a Knicks in 6 or Knicks in 7 bet, Pat.
Yeah, it's a tough one. And by the way, I like how I think you were going to maybe say gun to head, and you were saying gut feeling. I think you almost said gut to head, which is that's a funny visual.
Well, that could happen too.
It's the Knicks are a pretty big favorite in this series, and rightly so. And I'm, again, get out of here with the Knicks homer stuff. I said they were going to beat the Sixers. I said they were going to beat them in 6 or less, and they did. So I was right. And I've given the Pacers credit. They're run and gun. They're high paced offense, high octane. You don't score 120 points per game even in this era of the NBA without having shooters, without having athleticism, without having talent. And they do run deep. You're going to see your Ben Shepherds. You're going to see your TJ McConnells. You're going to see your former Knick, your Obi Toppins. Obi Toppin and TJ McConnell, by the way, combined for 41 points in that Game 6 closeout of Milwaukee. So, yeah, the Pacers are talented. And then there's probably going to be 1 or 2 games where they hit their shots. They're not going to miss from 3. They're going to hit 18, 19 threes. They're going to drop 115, 120 points, even on the Knicks defense. So I agree with you. I don't think this series is straightforward here. I'm looking at the series game spread, though, and I do think the Knicks win this one in 6 or less. That would include a closeout on the road. If they can do it in Philadelphia, I promise Mario Herron, they can do it in quiet old rickety Gainbridge Fieldhouse where you can hear a pin drop on certain games. Very quiet, and I promise you that the Pacers' home record of 26-15, which I think only 2 teams that started the playoffs had a worse home record as, that backs up my sentiment. So Knicks series game spread -1.5 at -140. If I was going to bet it, that's a future for this series. That's probably what I would like here. I do think that the Knicks have the potential, they have the ability and the talent to close this out on the road. So yes, if that would mean the Knicks have to do it on the road in Game 6 like they did against the Sixers, they can do it against the Pacers. That's probably my favorite bet of this series is Knicks -1.5 at -140 on BetMGM. I don't know if I want to mess around with exact outcomes here. Like I said, I'm giving the Pacers credit. I do think this could have the potential to be a tough series because it's a contrasting styles. It's a whole different fight than Knicks Sixers, which were both pretty similar, half court, kind of slow offense, rough and tough defense. It's a much different ball game, much different fight. You got a whole different boxer stepping in the ring against the Knicks. The Pacers are going to want to push the tempo. They're going to want to run. Rick Carlisle is an offensive savant. So, again, like I said, there's probably going to be 2 games where the Pacers just have their stroke going, and they're going to hit some shots, and the Knicks are going to have to tip their cap. But the Knicks are definitely going to go more than 7 deep here, Sean, and I don't think they're going to get gassed. I mean, again, the whole reason they won that series against the Sixers was because they played every single game like they played in the regular season. And Tibbs playing Josh Hart 45, 46 minutes a night for basically 2 weeks, 3 weeks in a row when OG Anunoby and Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson was hurt is the same reason why they're going to win this series, even if the Pacers try to run and get them gassed out. The Knicks have elite conditioning. They play every single game in the regular season like they do the postseason. That's why I have belief that, even when they did go with a shorter rotation against Philly, they were able to outgun them, out-hustle them, out-heart them in the fourth quarter, dominate on the offensive glass, which, by the way, the Pacers are one of the worst defensive rebounding teams. They are one of the worst teams in terms of forcing opposing turnovers. So they're going to have to get all of their fast break points just in pure transition. It's not going to come off of turnovers because the Knicks take care of the basketball and the Pacers don't force a lot of turnovers. They rank, I think it was 22nd in the NBA in opposing turnover rate. They rank 25th or lower in defensive rebounding, defensive rating, points per game allowed. So sure, they're going to hit their shots. But the Knicks are going to dominate the offensive glass just like they did in the last series. They're going to do that again, and they're just going to have games where they force Indiana to play in the half court. And I trust the Knicks defense, and I trust Jalen Brunson to continue this historic playoff run that he is on and that he is going to continue to go on. And yes, you're going to see some Precious Achiuwa. You might even see some Alec Burks. You're going to see some Alec Burks who had 6 straight DNPs against the Sixers. You will, because, like you said, the Knicks are going to have to go. The Knicks have to go a little bit deeper. They have to go a little bit deeper into that bench. And without Bojan Bogdanovic and, of course, without Julius Randle, that presents a different set of challenges. And you're going to have defenders like Precious Achiuwa, not necessarily great in the interior, but he's going to have to be on the perimeter chasing Pascal Siakam and Miles Turner off the three-point line because we know that the Pacers have every guy on the floor can hit the three. But, again, Knicks -1.5 games in this series is probably the thing that I like most.
And we joked about this last week with Mario, who's from Indiana, about the home court advantage. Knick fans absolutely took over Philadelphia a week ago in that Game 4. I would still say it was about 70-30 when I was in the building for a Game 6, primarily Sixer fans, but they were loud. And the Knick fans are hungry, and the Knick fans have traveled. You will get Knick fans in Indiana, but ultimately, this is not going to be a takeover, A, because it's not really drivable unless you're nuts. So Indiana should still have the home court advantage in those home games. And B, unfortunately, Indiana's just a boring-ass city. And Knick fans can't be bothered with paying money to go to boring-ass cities. So that's where, they won't be taking over and getting that building loud. They'll save their money, drive up to Boston, something like that for when Indiana's disposed of. But the one good thing the Pacers have going for them in this spot, playing a hungry fan base if they want home court advantage, is that they play in a boring-ass city. Boy, I don't think that's really indisputable.
Yeah, but you know that there's Knicks fans that are displaced around the entire country, and whether it's in the South, I don't know how many people are retiring and then going to Indianapolis, but There will be a decent presence because Pacers fans, if the tip off is not at 5:30 local time, it's a little too close to their bedtime. If it's tipping off at 7
Yeah,
or 8,
true.
so
True.
they're looking forward for the Denny's early special in the next morning.
True. And we've just insulted most of our Midwest fans here on BetQL with New York arrogance. I promise all of you that was just trying to get our producer Mario to take the bait. We do love you all. We love Middle America here. Pacers Knicks getting set to tip off tomorrow night. All right. BetQL's 5-star weekend will continue. There's movement. Nick Costo says it moves. NFL win movement total from BetMGM following the draft. Check that out as well. It's BetQL's 5-star weekend presented by BetMGM. Continue on. Next.
BetQL 5-star weekend will be back on the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM. Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
BetQL's 5-Star Weekend, presented by BetMGM. I'm just going to selfishly keep mentioning this vacation I'm about to go on to. The shoe packing. I just went upstairs real quickly. We're doing these shows from our home studios. I never know how many shoes to bring me. There's sandals here. There's sneakers here. What's a Pat Boyle bring on a week-long trip? How many shoes does Pat Boyle bring as a man?
Yeah, that's the toughest part because they take up the most weight and the most space in your
Yep.
suitcase. So you really got to be versatile. You got to have shoes that you can go out to dinner with, that you can walk around all day with, and that you can maybe do some physical activities in if possible. For me, I went to San Diego actually last summer, Shawnee. It was only for 4 days, and I still managed to find a way to bring 4 pairs of shoes. I had my low top white Lacoste shoes, which that was for any time going out to dinner. I had my black Nikes that I used to walk around with, and we went to the zoo the one day. Then I knew there was a gym in the hotel, so then I brought my Brooks, which I then was like, you know what? Oh, I'm gonna wake up every morning and go on a run with. Well, that didn't happen, but I did manage to make it to the gym most of the days, so there was that. And I'm trying to think of the other. And then I think I bought a pair of high top shoes to like go out at night with that I don't think I even wore. So I should have bought 3 pairs of shoes. Ended up bringing 4. But yeah, that's the tough one. You're thinking about bringing sandals?
Well, yeah, pool time, beach time, that kind of stuff. So I got nice Crocs sandals. Bottom line is this: when you have underwear the size of American flags like I do, there's not that much suitcase room. So away we go. All right.
So what else besides the Crocs sandals?
What happened? What else besides? I'm gonna wear my Nike Airs that I can wear to dinner as well and walk around. But got a little gray Adidas, nice shoe too as well. And I think my Crocs just to go out get the paper like Tony Soprano. So I'm looking at 4 very vastly different pairs of shoes. So I'm happy I got to bore everybody with that advice we went through. But we can continue on to talking sports sports now. By the way, if you are listening and want to see our pretty faces, one of which I have an ingrown hair and pimple coming, no worries. You can see us on Twitch. Just go to twitch.tv/BetQL. Let's talk a little NFL. We're a full week removed from the draft. And keep an eye on this week, Patty B. Thursday. The NFL schedule will come out this week. Yeah, that's right. You get a little taste. You get to, who's playing on Thanksgiving here? Ooh, who's the Christmas Day game going to ruin people's lives here? Woo, who's exactly all the London opponents? Woo, did Amazon get screwed on Thursday night games? Woo, where's the Monday night doubleheaders? Woo, how are we looking ahead to the Saturday triple headers that are going to now interfere with the college football playoff? Woo, all of that and more. So we'll get all of that on Thursday. And that is to say that what is going to be a very popular topic on Friday in the betting circles and wagertainment circles are going to be win totals. So we know the opponents, but as you know, Pat, watching the NFL as long as we have, having those opponents and knowing who you're playing in the home and road is fun to talk about. But you really, really want to see the schedule fluidity, right? Because if you have a game versus a really difficult opponent, but then you find out that you have a game versus like a toss-up opponent, and it happens to be 4 days later, that's your Thursday game. Well, that changes your idea. Well, maybe now I can see that more of a loss. Or we got screwed to traveling to the East or to the West 2 weeks in a row. All those like stupid nuggets that go into an NFL schedule, we will get, and that will alter our minds on what we may think of a team that might be middling or looking at those win totals. So before we do that, or before we have that win total line movement following the draft, the Packers, their line has gone from 9.5 to 10.5 wins. I'm going to read all 3 of these. I'll tell you which one makes the most sense, and you can piggyback as well. Steelers, 7.5 wins to 8.5 wins, and the Patriots have gone backwards, 5.5 wins to 4.5 wins. One of my dogs is crying. I'm sorry. Pat, I like the Packer movement. 9.5, 10.5. I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think they're going to go over. I think the Packers are going to win the NFC North this year, not the Detroit Lions. I think a lot of people will take that under a 10.5. I'm in on the over, pal.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was your dog crying or you trying to squeak out a fart. I mean, I could have been convinced either way, especially since there was that little
Yeah.
pause for you. Like that was the cheeks unclenching and finally relieving that gas. But okay, your dog is crying. Hopefully it's nothing serious. Back to business.
I'm sure.
So the Packers, you like the Packers over. Now that's 10.5. So they have to win 11 games, obviously, for anybody that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, my point, if I look at that, I think a lot of people would be scared off by 10.5 on the line movement. I like the over. I think the Packers are set up for a strong year. I really do. I really, really do.
I agree.
And by the way, I'm going based off of these three, which over I like.
Yeah, and I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong, and I was wrong about Jordan Love. I was, again, watched him fail for the first couple years of his career and had to sit by Aaron Rodgers. And then when he did get his chances briefly last year in 2022, I didn't think he was very good. I didn't think he had the makeup. I didn't think he had the fortitude to be a good quarterback. And then he, didn't necessarily light it up those first two games at Chicago, at Atlanta, but 3 tutties, no picks in both those first two games. Then he hit the first bump against the Saints, the Lions, and the Raiders, where he threw 6 picks in 3 games. And I was like, this guy stinks. And then after the bye week, everything started clicking, and he got progressively better and better and better throughout the year, to the point where I was like, yeah, I'm wrong. I think Jordan Love is a stud. I think this kid's phenomenal. So I just agree, just in general, with I think the uptick in the Packers. And, again, for anybody that is an NFC North foe, especially like the Chicago Bears that have gotten dominated for years by Brett Favre and then got dominated for years by Aaron Rodgers, it seems like the Packers just go seamlessly from franchise quarterback to franchise quarterback. So, look, he has an incredible connection with Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs. And, again, if those guys could just stay healthy for a full year, this offense could put up record-setting numbers. But, I mean, it's a tough division. Tough division. The Lions coming off the year, they have a lot trendy pick for to win the Super Bowl. The Detroit Lions, they get to the NFC Championship game last year. And then if you are a Caleb Williams believer, you don't think that the Bears are going to be the whipping boys for the rest of the NFC North. Minnesota seems like the weak team in the division, especially if they do start J.J. McCarthy, or even if they stick with Sam Darnold. But they do have a defense that got vastly better last year, and they still have Justin Jefferson. So it's a tough division. To see the Packers win 11 games, I can see why you like it, and I like it too. That's just, 11 games in a tough division is tough for me to say yes. I'm definitely putting my money on that. And you are muted, Shawnee. You are muted. Your mic is not on.
Sorry. So we're doing this based off the 3 big line movements we saw this week. So that's why, the Packers to me are my favorite of those 3, and I'm going to get to another one in a second. But you mentioned, or if they stick with Sam Darnold on the Vikings being bad, let me tell you something right now. We have been on this J.J. McCarthy thing I can't believe I'm going to have another J.J. McCarthy point here. If you have picked J.J. McCarthy in the first round in this NFL draft, the whole appeal is that he is a winner. He won in high school. He won the national championship. J.J. McCarthy is not Drake May or Jaden Daniels or even Bo Nix in terms of maybe you want to develop this guy. No. J.J. McCarthy, the whole appeal is that he's ready to start day one. He better be your starter if you're the Minnesota Vikings, or that's already a massive, massive mistake. The one movement on this, first of all, how the heck does anybody have a feel on the Steelers who 7.5, 8.5? Of course, I like the over, I guess, because Mike Tomlin doesn't finish under 500, and now he essentially is a quarterback. The only thing I'll say is I don't know how you have an accurate representation. Who the heck is playing quarterback for them? Is it going to be Russell Wilson or Justin Fields? So it's probably lazy analysis for me to say stay away, because in the end, Tomlin always finds a way to win 9 games. But it kind of is stay away because I'm really curious as to who the heck is. Maybe it doesn't matter who plays quarterback because it never seems to matter for the Steelers, but that does matter. 4.5 though for the Pats.
That's the best point you made about the Steelers. It doesn't matter who's playing quarterback. Mitch Trubisky, Duck Hodges, Gill, whatever the freak his name is, and then Kenny Pickett for the last couple of years. It doesn't matter who's playing quarterback. They still find a way to go above 500 or not finish below 500. That's the most important thing. And we don't know. Justin Fields might be playing quarterback. He might be returning kicks. I mean, my goodness. If that is real, as great of a coach Mike Tomlin is, if he has Justin Fields line up to return a kick this year, he should be fired on the spot. I don't care. You can't have a quarterback on your team returning kickoffs. I don't care that the rules have changed. Justin Fields should not return a single kick this year, or there should be everybody in that building should be fired and never work in football again. I mean, my goodness, what are we doing here?
The kickoff rule is going to become a hotter and hotter topic with us throughout the summer because it feels like these teams really cater drafting extra backs and everything else for it. Now, I just want to make this point on New England because they went backwards 5.5 to 4.5 on the total. They just got Drake May, who I still think needs time to develop, rookie head coach. God, I know Belichick's not there. I know the team stinks. That feels like such a low number. Are the Patriots really, with a rookie quarterback, going to win 4 or less games? And by the way, if they do, that screams they're picking first or second overall here after they were just picking third overall. You start to, really connect the dots. If you like the under on New England, like them to make if you could bet it offshore, to be the team trading with the team who wants whatever quarterback, insert Carson Beck and Quinn Ewers here, because if you have Drake May, you're probably not going quarterback again. That is wild that number is so low. I have a hard time actually plucking down the under on 4.5 for New England, no matter how bad they are, because I love Drake May, but then again, there's nothing there.
Yeah, I mean, and then they also drafted Joe Milton from Tennessee, so I think they would probably give a crack to both of those guys before they end up drafting another quarterback next year if they do go 3-14 this year. Again, over-unders for the NFL to me are, and I know people like betting them, love betting them. I don't think I've ever bet an over-under win total in the NFL. I don't know if I ever will because, I mean, you look at how
it's
a
fun
team
come August.
It is fun come August. I mean, maybe $5-10 for me, but I'm not actually going to invest, any actual big money in an over/under because you never know what a team can look like from week to week with injuries. I mean, look how many quarterbacks we saw go down last year, Shawnee. So, I mean, right there, you lose your quarterback in week 3, and your whole season's up in smoke. But for the Patriots too, I certainly do not want to take it because look at the division they're in. You probably got 3 playoff teams: Jets, Dolphins, Bills. I mean, the Patriots are most likely going 0-6 in division games this year. The Jets broke the curse against them last year. They're going to sweep them. So there's 6 losses right there. So not many wins to go around outside of that.
All right. We got your second edition of Hot Takes and Hot Cakes. I got a hockey bet coming for you. Plus, the Lakers really ham it up. Sean Morris and Pat Boyle. It's 5-star weekend presented by BetMGM.
with Sean Marash.
I will punch you in your stupid face, and I hate the Knicks. I hate their fans.
And Pat Boyle.
That's probably why I'm not a GM in the NFL, but if I was, I would probably take a huge swing on Michael Penix.
Turning your faith into fortune.
Few things in the gambling world I can't wait to bet more than the Jets under right now.
While serving up hot takes and hot takes.
If Chet Holmgren was on that team, he's probably putting up better numbers than Wemby.
It's BetQL 5-Star Weekend, presented by BetMGM.
5-Star Weekend presented by BetMGM. I'm Sean Morash. He's Pat Boyle. And we bring you the best in wagertainment every single Sunday. And if you're on your way into work and want to keep listening to us, even after you park your car, well, with the Odyssey app and Odyssey.com, you can. Just download the app or visit Odyssey.com, search BetQL, and click on our show, which is 5-Star Weekend. You favored us to make it even easier for you. Download the Odyssey app today to get started, the free Odyssey app, where, of course, all you get where you get all your BetQL content. Patty, but by the way, that open we had, you have me saying, I hate the Knicks, I hate their fans. I will punch you in your face. I almost took a punch in the face for people thinking I was a Knicks fan in Philadelphia on Thursday. We can tell that story later. Patty Boyle with his Michael Penix take, that was before the draft, and then there are the Falcons getting killed for that exact take that Pat Boyle gave you. So that's interesting. And then you have a take from me last year where it's I can't wait to bet the Jets under, which shockingly, here we are again. And I will tell you, I can't wait to bet the Jets under. So some things stay the same, some things change, and off and running we go. But it is our number 2. And with our number 2, we say PU. We say, I got nothing else funny that rhymes with it. So let's just give you your hot takes and hot cakes.
Boy, do I need some hot takes and hot cakes. Pat Boyle and Sean Marash, give it to them.
All right. The kids call a really exciting moment a cheek slapper, all right? And last night we got a cheek slapper in the NHL with a Game 7 that went to overtime between the Leafs and the Bruins. Slap those cheeks again because we have another Game 7 tonight. And it's the Vegas Golden Knights and the Dallas Stars, the defending Cup champs, on the ropes here versus the Dallas Stars in Big D tonight. You're getting positive money, though, on the Cup champs at plus 132. Positive money on a team that added Thomas Hertl at the deadline and tried to navigate the salary cap. I'm getting positive money here for the freaking Vegas Golden Knights to advance to the second round. Look, the Dallas Stars have been insane. This is the 4th Game 7, though, for that franchise since 2019. They've won 2 of the past 3. Remember, they won a Game 7 over the Seattle Kraken in the second round last year, did the Dallas Stars. A tight 2-1 game. So they are battle-tested in these spots. This is only the 4th Game 7 in franchise history for the Golden Knights. In 2021 was their last Game 7. So you got a little, and they won that Game 6 too, a little more seasoning here in Game 7s for the Dallas Stars. But we're talking about the Cup champs here with a reason, and that gut and that core of that team that's been put together. And to me, it comes down to simply this. Are Game 7s coin flips? And most times they are. But in this spot, the team that I have seen most recently go through the trials and tribulations of winning a Stanley Cup, that is battled hard, that I think is deeper offensively, although the Dallas Stars are damn talented here. How do I not take the Golden Knights at positive money, positive plus 125 right now at BetMGM, actually? I'm sorry, I'm on the Knights here just by sheer I'm getting positive money. It's Game 7 coin flip, and I trust their pedigree, Pat.
I like it, Sean. And, I'm not not a huge hockey guy outside of our, local teams, Islanders, Rangers, but I love this. I love this play from you. I might be tailing it because they've already taken 2 games on the road. I mean, they took the first 2 in the series both on the road in the Big D in Dallas.
Right.
So
Dallas hockey-wise, a lot like Indiana basketball-wise. You don't fear going in
there. Now, they were very good at home in the regular season, but yes, Vegas has already proved they can do it on the road. They took the first 2 games, and then you got to give the Stars credit. They fought back, took both in Vegas, very tough place to play in, whether it's regular season or the playoffs. It takes so much dedication, discipline, and focus to Stay on your regiment, not get blinded by the strip, not get blinded by the strippers, not get blinded by the money and the gambling and the casinos and the what have you and the whatnots. So, yeah, this series feels like it deserves a game 7. We do get a game 7. Vegas coming off of a huge shutout win in game 6. And like you said, you get plus money. And it's not like you're getting plus 105. You're getting plus 132, you just said. BetMGM is the price for Vegas. You know, when they've got the pedigree of being the Cup champs, and like you said, they got Hurdle, to in addition to big-time players like Mark Stone, who could stone you, like Jack Eichel, like Marchessault, like Pietrangelo. So, like you said, a lot of times it's a coin flip, but you're getting the reigning Cup champions, who, albeit finished 15 points less than Dallas. They got the postseason pedigree, you're getting them plus 130. I like this play for you, Shawnee. I like it a lot.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Pat. Please, please tickle my undercarriage with a hot take and a hot cake yourself.
Oh, I'll tickle you. I'll tickle you wherever you want to be tickled. I'm going for game 7 as well here in the NBA. We got a 1:00 Eastern tip in Cleveland between the Cavs and the Magic. By the way, Cleveland's an hour behind, right? So that is a noon tip. I mean, we couldn't do a little bit better. Adam Silver and the folks in the association. It's the lone game today.
So there is some insight to this. There is, first of all, you have to kind of space some things out. You can't assume losses. Remember, there is TV partners at hand here, and both, now this is going to change a little bit, it looks like Amazon, NBC getting involved with the NBA shortly, but Turner and Disney both owning the rights to both the NBA and NHL. We were supposed to have, if we did have, the game 7 between the Clippers and Mavs would have been tonight. They wanted, Disney did at least, as a partner of both, some clear out space, New York market hockey. That's why the Ranger Hurricane game falls at 4. The original plan today was give us a double dip of, hey, Pacers Magic, maybe not as appealing, even though it's the NBA early, into a New York market hockey game at 4 with the Disney family of networks. And then you would have had the night of the Clippers Mavs. Now you don't get the night of Clippers Mavs. You get a Turner hockey game 7 between the Golden Knights and Stars. So if you love the NBA and NHL, you're going to get 3 games in 3 windows here, one of them being early NBA. But that is why apparently it was viewed as Magic and Magic and Cavs a little less appealing than at least getting the New York market involved hockey-wise for a later window.
Also, I might be an idiot. Cleveland is the same. Cleveland is Eastern time zone.
True. Either way, I like this start, man. Give me a 1:00 game 7 on a Sunday, especially where we are, a little rainy day. Let's go.
I disagree. I like you said, New York market and the Rangers are going to be a big draw, but you know it's Sunday. That could have been. It's a game 1. That could have been 1:00, and you could have had Cavs Magic at 4 or 3:30. I think that would have been a little bit more appealing.
I'm just giving you the information. That's all I'm giving you.
Oh, I don't want your information. I don't want to hear the facts. I want to stand on my pulpit, and I want to be angry, and I want to be enraged, and I don't want to be hit back with logic and rationale. So, you know what? Screw you. Anyway, I like the Cavs here. Game 7, another team with postseason, a little bit of postseason pedigree. I mean, the Knicks spanked them last year in 5 games in the first round, but Donovan Mitchell has plenty of postseason experience. He's only played 1 game 7, though, so take that into account. But I still think coming off of the 50 burger that he dropped last game, and, you know, Cleveland a little bit banged up. Jarrett Allen may or may not play, hasn't played the last 2 games, and they're missing some of their other, you know, scorers off the bench, Ty Jerome, Dean Wade, who have been out. But either way, when you get to game 6, and more importantly, you get to game 7, winner take all, you have to rely on your stars. And that is why the Cavs had Donovan Mitchell take 36 shots in game 6. I guarantee you he's taken at least 30 as well in game 7. So I like the Cavs to win it at home against a Magic team that has surprised all year. They have surprised by getting this to game 7, even though this series was pretty evenly matched from the start. I like the Cavs to win. A little same-game parlay here for you, BetMGM style. I like the Cavs money line and Donovan Mitchell to score 25-plus points. That gets you on the button, plus 100, dead even odds here. I like that play. Donovan Mitchell is going to score. He might score 30, might score 35. You want to sprinkle a little bit with a Cavs minus 3.5 and Donovan Mitchell to score 40. That'll probably get you pretty damn good odds. But I'm going to play it safe here. I think the Cavs win the game, and I think Donovan Mitchell absolutely gets to 25. So the only other game 7 he played was back in 2020 in the first round, Utah-Denver. He dropped 22 points. And I believe that was in the bubble, if I'm not mistaken here. So now he's on his home court. He just, like I said, he just dropped 50 on 36 shots last game. He is going to shoot the ball over and over and over again. The ball is barely going to leave his hands. So you give me Donovan Mitchell against Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner, both who have had some big games, but have had some duds in this series. And I get it. Donovan, Spider's also had a couple of weak games 3 and 4. He only combined for 31 points, but I trust that Spidey's going to step up at home with the season on the line. So Donovan Mitchell, 25 points, Cavs to win the game. That's plus 100.
I love it. I absolutely love it. It's just so odd until you see it here. I know that you said the Cavs got spanked. This young Magic team just doesn't quite carry the same punch the way in the West, the Oklahoma City Thunder and, of course, the Minnesota Timberwolves have. You got to see something here from the Magic before you believe it. And you lean star player there with Donovan Mitchell like you are, scoring 25 or more points. Should be a fascinating game one. You're raising your finger up, Boyle. What do you got? You going to smell that thing? Because you got a point.
No, I just wanted to make a point here about the over-under, the total, because I was looking to jump on it if it was anything close, like 198, 199, 200. This has been a very low-scoring and at times boring series. So if you want something to root for, you want to sweat a little bit, a little D-Gen Nation action. The over-under is 195.5 on BetMGM. That is low, but Game 7s have a knack of being ugly, of being low scoring, all the pressure that's on these guys to hit shots. You usually see Game 7s go under. I'll see if either Mario or in the next break I can try to get you a stat on Game 7 over unders in the last couple of years here in the playoffs. But I mean, look at all these games, dude.
A lot. If I'm the producer in that spot, Boyle, it's a big ask. I would be out.
199 last game, 207 in Game 5. You had 201 in Game 4, 194 in Game 3, and then Games 1 and 2. I mean, lucky that we got to 180 points. So not as much as the bet that I'm taking, Cavs money line and Donovan Mitchell 25 plus points, but just for the sake of it, because it's Game 7 and I like to be contrarian and bet the under, I'll probably have a little bit on the under 195.5. But man, I mean, maybe that's why the game's at 1 o'clock. Maybe now I can kind of see why.
Yeah, an absolute slugfest. Speaking of 1 o'clock, Sunday 1 o'clock, that's a Miami Dolphins specialty. In that spot, the Miami Dolphins want to have Odell Beckham Jr., who they've signed to join Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Just real quick thought, this to me doesn't really make me think any differently of the Miami Dolphins. I think that they will be a team that misses Christian Wilkins on that defensive side of the football, but ultimately will be spunky, will be good, will score points, and then probably fold up shop in the postseason. Odell Beckham Jr. was a non-factor in both of the Ravens playoff games. How do I know that? Well, I know that because I couldn't stop finding some kind of stupid prop to bet with him, whether it was 25 yards or more receiving, over on reception, score a touchdown. And he did, like they like to say in the Italian culture, un gats in the postseason. I am not a big Odell Beckham to the Dolphins, think that this is anything other than a name going to Miami type move here, Pat. But I know this had some sexy appeal this week to some.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, Sean. Let's call it what it is. And you're a Giant fan. You got a former Giant who, by the way, his career has been a little bit derailed by a couple of season-ending surgeries. Sure. And I feel for Odell in the sense that I think he was poised to have one of his biggest games of his career in that Super Bowl a couple of years ago for the Rams, and tears his ACL in the first half after he had 2 catches for 52 yards and a touchdown. He electrified early and then tears his ACL and was done for the season. So, now at 31, a little bit much to ask of him. But, again, surgeries aside, everything else aside, at this point in his career, it's kind of a scrub. Like, OBJ is kind of a scrub. Yeah. He doesn't really move the needle for any championship caliber team. So, like you said, it gives them another option. It gives them another star power name. Doesn't surprise me that Miami has pulled this trigger on him. But, at this point, you're looking to Odell for veteran leadership and maybe, to have 1 or 2 big plays throughout an entire season. I agree with you. It doesn't really move the needle for me. He did not show up in either of the Ravens postseason games. Like you said, he only had 2 games this season where he had 60 yards or more. So, I mean, at this point, he is in the twilight of his career. It doesn't really move the needle. It's a 1 year, $8 million deal for a reason.
No, scrub. No, no, no. I don't want
I
no
don't
Dell.
want no
He is
scrub.
a scrub, and I got Tyreek and Waddle. I don't want no Dell. It does make me think, though, Boyle. Maybe, just maybe, Tua with these receivers can be Destiny's Child.
Yeah.
By the way,
Wait, isn't that
Mario,
TLC?
again, damn it, you're right. It wasn't Destiny's Child. Maybe
That's an L.
Odell just needs a little TLC. All right, when we come back, maybe I need some THC. We'll go over the best bets and the most tickets on the Game 7 and then look ahead to Game 1 in the NBA on the hardwood. We give you the hardwood from some hardwood here. It's Betql's 5-Star Weekend. Sean Morash and Pat Boyle. I'm going to get out of this now.
Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Good job by our producers on the show, Mario, of course, Dan Turner, who's like the quiet cloak and dagger guy behind the scenes. Overs are 16 and 11. That's a 59.2% clip in round one game sevens. Round one game sevens, which is important to note, since 2003. So basically 20 years of round ones, we've only had 27 game sevens. And 16 and 11. To me, 16 and 11, a 5-game over differential on the positive there on overs tells me it's basically a split. There's no rhyme or reason or trend to it. But it goes, if you wanted to lean, it goes against your tightness of shooting theory, though, Pat, that the overs still hit at a higher clip slightly.
Yeah, and that just tells me that more so than anything else, I think books are usually keen to game sevens being lower scoring. So it's that, and that, again, that's why you see, I think most of this series, the over-under for the Cavs and Magic has been between 199 and 203, and now game 7 is 195 and a half. So there you go. Those 4 or 5 points, big difference there, especially because you've had a couple of these last games finish right around there. I think after game 1 and 2, both having a combined 180 points each, basically. That's a big reason for that. But I still like the under if I were to put a couple shekels on that one in Cavs Magic. But I still like my little same game parlay. I like the Cavs. I don't want to lay minus 150. So what do I think is the next best thing? Donovan Mitchell to score 25. And away we go. But nice job, Dan Turner, finding that stat for us.
Yeah, I love that stat. Now, we have the most bet tickets on player props here at BetMGM for this game that will tip off in less than 3 hours. Donovan Mitchell over 28.5 points, minus 125, the odds there. That's the top bet ticket. By the way, how do you not? After the game he had, Donovan Mitchell's the star. Me and Pat like the 25 or more points. You're going to get Donovan Mitchell very chalky here to go high on the point total. Paolo Banchero over 24.5 points at minus 120. I don't have a great feeling. This is going to be interesting. Banchero playing in his first game 7 in this spot. Maybe he fits that mold of what Pat's talking about tight shooting and everything. This is a big spot for Banchero as an emerging star for that Magic team, clearly. Donovan Mitchell over 9.5 assists and rebounds is the third most bet ticket at 9.5, minus 145 in the odds. Evan Mobley under 9.5 boards at minus 105. I love that we get an under here as one of the 4 most bet tickets, because there's nothing worse to root for than less action, but it's a rebound bet, so I like it. And Jalen Suggs, who basically looked like he had torn out both of his kneecaps, remember, at the beginning of this series, is still playing and playing well, over 12.5 points at minus 130. Any of those tickets besides Donovan Mitchell, which we've hit on, stick out to you, Pat?
Yeah, it's the Evan Mobley under 9.5 rebounds, unless there's folks with some insider information or just a hunch that Jarrett Allen is going to miss this game again. He's missed the last 2 games with a rib injury. And, if you're pretty certain that Jarrett Allen is not playing, I can see why. Or if you're confident Jarrett Allen's not playing, let me rephrase that. If you're confident Jarrett Allen is playing, that's the only way I can see you're taking Evan Mobley under 9.5 rebounds. Because if Jarrett Allen does not play, then Evan Mobley is going to have himself a busy day on the glass, a busy, busy day indeed. But even then, I get it. Last 2 games, even without Jarrett Allen playing, Evan Mobley, 13 rebounds and then 7 rebounds last game. He's also had a couple of, he's had a 2-rebound game in this series. So he has not been as big of a factor as I thought he would be. But in a game 7, like I said, where I'm expecting more misses, if Jarrett Allen does not play, I would probably go contrarian there. I would probably like to lean Evan Mobley to get double-digit rebounds in this one. So I think that all depends on the status of Jarrett Allen, which should be released hopefully in the next before we get off the air, but definitely by game time. So that's definitely one that I got my eye on. Unless you're pretty confident Jarrett Allen is playing, I don't see why you're taking Evan Mobley under 9.5 rebounds.
Yeah, and I normally don't like doing this, but one of my buddies he calls himself the parlay god, but I've been tailing his picks recently, okay? Because my buddy Tim, who is hotter than a pistol, likes doing some alternate point totals and stuff, putting them together. He puts a larger amount of money than he probably should and takes back. Won $2,000 last night on just a combo. Carl Anthony Towns and Michael Porter Jr. each to go 20 or more points over. Bet a substantial amount, but took home $2,000. He's hammering me home here with the text, but hey, we're all degenerates listening, right? Loves Suggs 15 or more, Mobley 15 or more on points today. He's already combined them as a prop parlay. So he's hit like 23 of his last 26 in the NBA playoffs, just doing 2 at a time. So he is legitimately that hot. That's the only reason I'm even uttering these words on the air. Suggs 15 or more, Mobley 15 or more points. That is his play of the day. So Timmy the Parlay God. There you go. All right. It's out there. It's in the circles.
Timmy the Parlay God getting a big plug. How about that?
Well, dude, I will tell you this. He knows I've been friends with him since high school. And you know how this is, Pat, when you work in radio. Oh, do this, do that. I said I need to see some legitimate receipts for a long amount of time before I even utter those words into a microphone. And to his credit, he has been taking the books for a ride these last 3 weeks in the NBA playoffs. I've seen all the winnings. So I said, give me your play today for this Game 7. Give me your combo play today. That's what he has. I said, I'll tell the audience. So there he is. Maybe I'll Instagram story his pick or something. So you got it, okay? There you go. Do you like that, Pat, though? I'm going to tail.
Do I like that? On it. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Evan Mobley got into foul trouble last game. So, I mean, if he gets into foul trouble early again, I think you can wipe that one right down wipe it between your cheeks and flush it down the toilet. But, again, at home, you think where the whistles maybe break a little bit more in Cleveland's favor. And I think their last couple of home games, he hasn't picked up more than 3 fouls. So that would tell you, yeah, he's got a good chance to play 34, 36 minutes today, regardless of Jared Allen's status. Mobley did have 15 or more in both of those first 2 games. So maybe they get back to that strategy, JB Bickerstaff and those boys in Cleveland. And then Suggs, yeah, I mean, he's been hot these last couple of games. So sure, Timmy the Parlay Guy, Tommy the Parlay God, Timmy the Parlay God. Sorry, Timmy. Timmy! I like that play. What do you know what the odds on that are? Plus 500?
I just texted him, of course. He's probably lost coaching his kid's softball game or something. But yeah, I could probably put it back in and see what happened. But he's tinkered enough that I know he has a ticket on that. But I would love to see, Patty Beefcake Parlay God versus Timmy the Parlay God in a sumo wrestling match like Micah Parsons did versus what is Micah Parsons doing, by the way?
He wants to be famous beyond football so badly. It's so sad.
I know. And here's the thing. I hate Micah Parsons because he's a Dallas Cowboy and I'm a New York Giant fan. But I kind of feel like I'd love Micah Parsons if he was a Giant. But he is getting annoying now. He's just flat out getting annoying. He's got an opinion on everything in the league and everybody in the league. You're right. He is setting himself up for life after football. Watch me be, co-hosting Betql with him in 20 years. So I, watch what I say now so it doesn't come back to haunt me. But you're sumo wrestling now. Look, if I was a Cowboy fan, I'd be like, do we need this? Can we just calm down and focus on football here? But you're right. Micah Parsons getting real annoying now. Just absolutely. I don't know why. That bothers me.
I have cooked together this parlay, by the way. So I got Evan Mobley 15 and then Jalen Suggs 15 plus 400. So I was almost on the nose.
Okay.
Plus 400.
So that's what he does. So you should always be a responsible gamer. But like when I tell you, I don't think he's going to put a couple $100s on this and it's going to lead to, a couple grand. Like that's kind of his gimmick and his play. But, losers happen too. So we'll see. The moment now that I've given it away, that's what scares me a little, but I will be on it myself as well. By the way, did you watch the horse race yesterday with Mystic Dan?
No. The only thing I could care less about than the May the 4th be with you yesterday was the Kentucky Derby.
Oh. Okay, well, anyway, it was a great Derby photo finish. What's the problem with May the 4th?
We haven't talked about this on the air today. I mean, it's just the biggest.
Am I stealing something for later, or do you want to unload now?
No, I can unload. Yeah, the 2 things I couldn't care less about yesterday were the Kentucky Derby, where a bunch of people all of a sudden, show up and they dress nice and they like to flash how much money they have and what designer suit they're wearing, and they just put a couple $1,000, on horses that they have never seen, that they have no idea about, that maybe you read a quick 90-second article on and you go, or like you said, Sean, I mean, you admitted it. You had your daughter pick out which horse name she liked best or whatever, or just which number she
My
liked best.
2-year-old.
And yeah, your 2-year-old, and you happen to win some money. I mean, that is the betting strategy. I feel like for 99% of people, there are some real pony degenerates out there, and to each their own. If you're betting horse races like a fellow radio host, longtime radio host that we know, and down the stretch they come. That's one thing. But, I mean, who cares, right? The most exciting 2-minute race. I can tell you I've had a lot more exciting 2-minute races in my lifetime than watching, horses. And, oh, my God, we had a photo finish. But the only thing I couldn't care less about more than that is the whole May the 4th be with you and the Star Wars band of geeks that, like to show up and wear yesterday they had a Yankee bobblehead day for Garrett Cole, as a Jedi or whatever, Luke Skywalker. And you had a bunch of people dressing up as Ewoks and stormtroopers or storm chasers, whatever they're called, showing up to Yankee Stadium dressed like it was Christmas for them. I mean, what a bunch of nerds.
Well, I mean, I'm with you. I think Star Wars people in general I hate calling people weird because I'm weird. Can I just say this before anybody gets offended? Because we're going to do a couple things now. Everybody's weird. Pat, you're weird. I'm weird. Mario's weird. You listening in your car right now or sitting at home having your cup of coffee, watching us on Twitch, you're weird. Everything is weird to some degree. Now we understand that there's some overboard weirdos. The overindulgence in Star Wars fandom is definitely on the high spectrum of weirdness. Right? You're dressing, you're going to the Comic-Cons, you're doing this. I can't get into it. It's sci-fi, it's fantasy, it's reality. Heck, I'm about to go to Disneyland. You know how many YouTube videos I watched trying to get the lay of the land? You know what you realize too? Disney people, really weird. You're a really, really weird adult when you don't go with kids to Disneyland or Disney World and you go constantly and like you're obsessed with the hotels and this and that. You're a weirdo. But I'm with you. And when baseball teams tap into the weirdness, sometimes that can be cool. But on the May the 4th be with you because of May the 4th, it is just so hokey. It is just so dumb. Now, I love the Kentucky Derby, so I won't go there. Maybe that makes me weird. But the Star Wars people are ready. I think Star Wars people won, Disney adults 2 in terms of the weirdo meter.
I think you just hit the nail on the head. That might be the best take you've ever had in your entire life. Disney adults that go without kids versus Star Wars diehard fans. That would be like a 1 seed versus a 1 seed, number 1 versus number 2 in the country in the national championship. Like that's a bracket where there's those two teams. Those two things are not getting upset. They are not getting out-weirded in a bracket in a field of 64.
Yeah, dude, there's no doubt about it. I'm telling you, I watch these videos, man. And they're like, look at the attention to detail. There's the Wally lamp here. I'm staying, I shouldn't even tell you where I'm staying, but there's some stuff going on there. Well, look, there's Nemo swimming by here, and they like live for it. And I'm looking at these people. There's no way that a dude like that, first of all, is even listening to this. There's no way that you can go from, man, I like Donovan Mitchell, 25 or more points, to look at the shoes I got that have the Cars character on it. And like, these are the people we're talking about. And look, it's out there with the Instagram. Let's just call it like it is. The high gums. You see people at high gums. 10 out of 10 time. Their favorite thing to do is go to Disney World or Disneyland. No doubt about it. We call those Disney teeth.
That is unbelievable because I know a girl that I went to college with that has a very gummy mouth, and she always posts a picture at Disney World every year. You couldn't be more spot on, dude. You could not be more spot on in your assessment there.
When we combine Star Wars and Disney with that, you get the high gummy teeth to go with the sports fans. And look, I'm wearing a Mark Messier jersey today. Why? Because in game 1 of the first round, this is what I wore for the Rangers. So that probably makes me a weirdo. And I'm sure there's somebody at Disney or somebody at a Star Wars Comic-Con event going, what's with fat, bald people and not putting on deodorant and changing their underwear because the sports team didn't win? And you're right. You're right. We're all pathetic in our own little way. We're all weird, and that's my way of covering the bases so I don't get called back that I called other people weirdos. But you're right. May the 4th, people. That, by the way, that started as a Kentucky Derby take. Did you like the photo finish? I did like the photo finish. I thought that was cool. What do you think? What do you think Mystic Dan does today. You think he gets like the female horses all revved up? They're like, "Look at you, champ! Look at you, champ! Mount me, mount me." You think he gets any
Yeah,
action for winning that race?
he probably had his pick of a litter, but hopefully, another thing I don't like with the horse racing, hopefully he doesn't, like sprain his ankle. Otherwise, he's going to get taken out to the back of the woodshed, and that's the last we're going to hear about Mystic Dan.
All right, we took a dark turn. I was going for two horses mating, and you went for the horse gets shot because it sprained his ankle. This is BetQL's 5-Star Weekend presented by BetMGM. Nowhere to go but up from here. Dingbat is next. We give away our favorite home run plays. Okay. We'll see you next.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM. five-star weekend on the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM.
For sure. Betting home run props is hard. It seems easy when you look at that BetMGM app every day, every week. It seems easy until you realize how hard it is to hit. And we have hit a crucial point in the season. It is May 5th. We are 6 weeks into the season. I should have hit the cough button. I didn't. And Mario Heron can't find a winner and giving away a home run prop. We each draft 3 guys every week at this time, if you're listening, a segment called Dingbat. And Mario, we're either 5 or 6 weeks in, 18, 15 guys, doesn't matter. He hasn't hit a single one. Now, I went over 3 last week. And beyond me and Pat ain't cleaning up either. I mean, we've given away some winners, but it's not like we're, boom, throwing darts and going 2 for 3, 3 for 3. The odds are one of the 9 names you hear out of our mouths will hit a home run, which is good. But you got to pick the right one because you can't just bet all 9 or you're going to be down money at the end of the day with some of these home run props. But Mario, before we get going here, do you have anything to say for yourself?
Always, it's the darkest before the dawn, as they say. So we're about to be at dawn. It's about to be pretty bright. What are you going to do? It can only go up from here. It literally cannot get any worse. So at one point, something's going to hit. Just got to get there. That's all that matters.
What kind of art is that in the background for you, Mario? What is over what looks like my left shoulder, but is your right shoulder? And for everybody listening, Mario's got some interesting art in his background.
Yeah. So that is a picture of my sister and my dad when she was a little girl. And then behind that is about 1,000 Bibles. I have no idea why there's so many Bibles, but.
Oh, my God.
Okay, wow. So, yeah, I totally.
I'll say this. I'm so glad I didn't make a joke. Because, Mario, you can't actually see that those are humans. And now you just mentioned Bibles.
Okay.
My joke was, and I know it obviously wouldn't be this, but it is in the shape very faintly if you're watching at twitch.tv as BetQL. My joke was going to be, it looks like Mario has a painting of a veiny penis over his right shoulder. But now I find out that it's his dad and sister together. And next to a bunch of holy Bibles.
You're going straight to hell, pal.
Let's get to Dingbat. Let's get to Dingbat.
Hold on. What it looked like to me was it looks like Scrappy Doo from the Scooby-Doo movies with like a handkerchief around his neck. That's what it looks like from far away that I can barely see. But I was wrong. Sean was definitely wrong. So, yes, let's transition very quickly out of that. Why don't we do Dingbat?
Okay. Well, first, let me tell you, before we throw to the open, I'm going to remember this week to remind you that BetMGM is introducing our MLB Grand Slam Jackpot. It's a weekly bet and get promotion. Place a $10 or more wager on any player to hit a home run every weekend. That's Friday, that's Saturday, and that's today, Sunday. If the player hits a Grand Slam on that day, they can win the $50,000 daily prize or a share of the prize with every other winning bettor. For example, a customer bets on Aaron Judge to hit a home run on the 31st of July against Houston. Well, Judge hits a Grand Slam, not just an ordinary home run. You, along with 9 other customers, each will take home $5,000 cash in addition to bet winnings. That is the BetMGM promotion, the Grand Slam Jackpot promotion. So we're going to give you 9 home run hitters here total. If one of those guys and you happen to bet him hits a Grand Slam today, and you, along with whoever else decided to bet them, will split up $50,000. I think it's a pretty damn good deal for a home run prop bet, if you ask me, at a BetMGM. So without further ado, let's dingbat this up.
Who will win? Who will lose? Who will look dumb? It's time for Dingbat with Sean Marash and Pat Boyle on the Bet.
All right, and for visual purposes, we start this the way we started every single week with a game of rock, paper, scissors. So, Mario, let's see how delayed you are. Rock, paper. Boyle, we going to do this? Rock, paper, scissors, says, shoot. All right, Mario's out. He picks last. He threw rock. Me and Pat have each thrown a piece of paper out there. It comes down to me and Pat Boyle for first pick. Rock, paper, scissors, says, shoot. All right, Boyle gets first pick. It felt like he cheated.
Yeah,
First,
baby.
and he put up the rock. So I had scissors, Boyle had rock. Boyle first, me second, Mario third. Take it away, Patty Boyle.
Now, this is honestly probably the one week where I would have liked to go last. Last week I had Mario steal my Paul Goldschmidt pick, which I thought for sure he was going deep at plus 475. He did not, so it didn't matter in retrospect. In hindsight, I don't think I have three guys that any of you were taking to hit a home run today, but let's get it out of the way. Let me take the guy that is probably the most popular. It's a guy that's been cold. 1 for his last 23 over the last 7 games. He's also never faced Tampa Bay's starting pitcher Ryan Pepio, so I don't have any lifetime ABs to go off of, but a guy that routinely hits 45 to 50 home runs a year, and even though he's once again struggling with the hitting overall, an OPS basically at league average, a batting average of 215, he's got 8 on the season. Give me the polar bear to go deep at the Trop. Pete Alonso plus 450 to break out of a little slump with a Billy bomb. I'm starting with the polar bear, Pete Alonso, plus 450.
All right. I'm also going to take a guy at plus 450 today. His name is C.J. Abrams, who leads the Nats with 4 homers here against right-handed pitching. Now, why is that important? A right-handed pitcher's going. Fatso's back for Toronto. Alek Manoah making his first start of the year. Are we sure that Fatso is going to have it all figured out as he comes back after bombing last year, after he was a stud 2 years ago? No. It's the toilet bowl between the Nationals and Blue Jays, but there's dingers to be had. Give me C.J. Abrams with 4 bombs already against right-handed pitching at plus 450 to take Fatso deep. Mario, to you.
Sean, well, hold on, Mario. Before you go, Sean, you're a big opponent of calling people fat, the F word. That was a little
You're right.
Fatso on Fatso crime there.
I'm allowed to call other people fat. I am fat.
Okay, gotcha.
You can't call me fat. You can't call Alec fat.
I can't call Alek Manoah fat.
Nope. He's husky to you.
I can't call him a fat lard that has everything coming to him whenever he gets lit up on the mound because he talks smack when he had like a half of a good season.
No, he's chunky to you. Don't use that F word.
All so right. Just to confirm, I can't say Alek Manoah is a fat slob.
And you just did, so don't do it again.
I'm just saying. I'm just clarifying. So
yep.
I can't call him a butterbean moonlighting sumo wrestler fat ass.
As long as you took away the word fat, you could have called him all those other words.
Okay.
All right. Mario, who do you got?
All right. I got Christopher Morel plus 675. 4 home runs in the past week. Kid's hot. Let's stay hot, baby. So I'll go with that. I got a little big money on this today. We got larger odds, so that's either going to go my direction or what's good. We go, and I can't get worse from here. So Christopher Morel, let's go yard today, baby. Let's make some money. In the great city of Chicago.
Patty.
Mario, as much as you have bombed in this segment, that's honestly one of the best picks that I think I've seen in terms of the value. And coming from a Cubs fan, Chris Morel has been red hot lately. He had a nice, really good series against the Mets earlier this week. And like you said, 4 bombs in the last week, and you're getting it at plus 675. Is that the price?
Yeah, 675.
That's good. Like that's, half the battle as a bettor, right? We all think that we know what's coming. We all want to be right. We all want to, say, I told you so. Half the battle is finding good value and then just, seeing where the chips fall. And I think you have found really, really good value in that pick. I'm not just blowing smoke up your tush there. So, all right, pick number 2 for me. Pick number 2 for me, and a guy that I don't think any of you are touching. But, again, I think this is a get right spot or a get long spot for this guy because he has actually been swinging the stick well. 5 hits in the last 3 games, but it's a perennial all-star, one of the most electrifying players in the game. He's only got 1 home run on the season. And, whether the roof is open or closed in Houston, it's going to be beautiful, hot, warm weather. Hopefully the ball is going to be flying regardless of if the roof is open or not. And he's 3 for 5 lifetime versus Hunter Brown. Give me J-Rod. Julio Rodriguez from the Seattle Mariners plus 425. He's only got one home run on the year, so that's technically not good value. But I think he goes deep. I think this is a get long spot for J-Rod plus 425 for my second pick.
All right, my second pick, I continue the fade fatso prop. Nick Senzel of the Nats plus 700. He has 3 homers versus right-handed pitching this year. I keep finding these themes. Nick Senzel, fade fatso. Mario.
Wow. All right. Hunter Renfroe plus 775. 3 home runs against John Gray, batting 400 against John Gray as well. Hunter Renfroe, be my hero, be a king, be a god. Plus 775. Our good friends at BetMGM. Home run. Let's go.
All right. Patty.
Okay. I actually don't know the odds on this last one as of yet here. So, Shawnee, do you want to possibly steal my pick here and make your third and final selection?
Okay. Dean Kramer starting for Baltimore today. Okay. He's had 6 starts. He's allowed at least 1 home run in all but one of those starts. And in half of those games, he's allowed at least 2 home runs. Give me a dart on Elly De La Cruz today at plus 400, pick number 3.
I like that one. All right, I got my third and final pick. I got the odds. I was just looking through the stats, and I've got them here. Give me Travis d'Arnaud of the Atlanta Braves in L.A. Again, I like any time we got good warm weather, and right now in the first week of May, there's going to be a lot of teams in the East Coast and in the North that are still playing in 40, 50-degree weather. So that's just not conducive for me for the long ball. But d'Arnaud playing in L.A., plus 475 for the Braves catcher. Travis d'Arnaud, 3 for 7 lifetime against James Paxton with 2 home runs on 1,900 OPS. And in the short sample size that he's had, he has crushed him. He's got a 905 OPS on the season with 5 bombs. And a guy that hasn't hit a home run in the last week, but he was hitting them with pretty good frequency before that. So d'Arnaud, plus 475.
Profar. Last one, plus 650, batting 565 this past week. Great numbers against, who's on the mound? Ryan Nelson. Give it to me all day long, baby. Let's go Padres.
A very confident
final
pick.
Go far.
All right.
Yeah.
Our final hour, jam-packed of picks, degenerate bets, GTFOs, oh yeahs, and hot takes and hot cakes. Let's slap, baby. We continue next.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM. BetQL Sunday Service starts now. With Sean Marash.
I will punch you in your stupid face, and I hate the Knicks. I hate their fans.
And Pat Boyle.
That's probably why I'm not a GM in the NFL, but if I was, I would probably take a huge swing on Michael Penix.
Turning your faith into fortune.
Few things in the gambling world I can't wait to bet more than the Jets under right now.
While serving up hot takes and hot takes.
If Chet Holmgren was on that team, he's probably putting up better numbers than Wemby.
It's BetQL 5-Star Weekend, presented by BetMGM.
Presented by BetMGM. Boyle is just rocking out like it's a Kiss concert. Lick me, baby, one more time. It's our final hour. I love this hour. This is an hour that always brings me great joy. I love GTFO. Oh, yeah. That comes your way in 20 minutes. Our Sunday Scary Parlay. Patty's got a beefcake bakers, man. He's got a problem with somebody. Bake a bet as fast as you can. He's going to give that to you at the end of the show. Plus, degeneration bets coming up. Where can you degenerates find those bets or hear those bets? We'll have them coming up. And, of course, our final hot takes and hot cakes. Let's just, let's get the week, let's get the hour going. Hot takes and hot cakes. Let's have at it.
Good morning, people. Boy, do I need some hot takes and hot cakes. Pat Boyle and Sean Marash, give it to them.
All right, Patty. We're going to start over you because I love a good off-the-wall rebounding hot cake to start an hour. Give us the bet, Patty. Patty's got a hot cake. Let's hear it.
Yeah, you got it, baby. You got it, Shawnee. Whatever your heart desires, I live to satisfy you. And the great folks of North America and their wallets. So let's make that wallet a little fatter here, and let's get Wendell Carter of the Orlando Magic over 7.5 rebounds. So you need 8 rebounds from Wendell. You need 8 of them. Count them. 8 rebounds from Wendell Carter, and you get it at plus money. Right? Nobody hates laying juice on a player prop more than me. So you get a player prop at plus money. Wendell Carter, who has cleared this each of the last 2 games after the start of the series where I feel like Jamal Mosley, the head coach of the Magic, tried to kind of just hide him on the bench as if, the Cleveland Cavaliers don't have 2 towering bigs in Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen. Wrong decision, Jamal. And since then, he has been inserted into the starting lineup in the last 4 games. And in the last 2 games, he has played 33 minutes and 36 minutes when he hadn't played more than 25 in each of the previous 4 games. And what has come back of that? Wendell Carter, 4 blocks combined in the last 2 games, 20 rebounds combined in the last 2 games, and he's given you a little bit on the offensive glass as well. Not necessarily shooting it all that efficiently last game. He went 4 for 11. He actually could have had a much bigger day. He shot 7 threes. I doubt you're going to see him take 7 threes today, and I don't necessarily know what to expect in terms of offense from him. But whether or not Jarrett Allen plays for the Cavaliers, the Magic know that they have to crash the glass. They need second chance opportunities, especially in a series that has not had a lot of points, that has had a lot of clunky brick shots. You need rebounds. Wendell Carter is your guy. He's your guy. He is my guy. He is everybody's guy today. Big Wendell Carter. 11 rebounds in Game 5. 9 rebounds in Game 6. We need 8, and we get it at plus money. I think Wendell plays 35, 36 minutes again here. And like I said, I'm expecting a Game 7 that has a lot of missed shots, a low-scoring total, so a lot of opportunities for rebounds. And I think Wendell Carter is going to be the guy that has seen an uptick in minutes, has seen an uptick in production. I think he's going to be banging down low with Mobley, and if Allen plays today, he's going to be banging down low with both of them. I think he bangs his way to 8 rebounds, and I think you bang your way to a winner. Wendell Carter, over 7.5 rebounds.
All right, so Patty's got a lot of banging with Wendell Carter. I love it, over 7.5 rebounds. Look, somebody's got to grab the boards in this game, clearly. Somebody's got to grab the boards. And
somebody's got to grab them. Somebody's got to grab them. And hey, Mr. Carter, tell me, where have you been? Around the world, now I'm back again, grabbing some rebounds, grabbing some boards for Patty and Sean to win some money. Hey, Mr. Carter. Hello, tell me, where have you been? Around the world, now I'm back again.
Maybe Wendell Carter will have a little game instead of a little win. Anyway, back to mine. I like to call this hot take or hot cake. What the puck? I'm on it here. Rangers and Hurricanes game 1. Those of you who know me know I am a New York Ranger fan. Here's the deal. The Rangers and Hurricanes each made their round ones rather easy. A combined 1 loss for the two teams. The Rangers swept the Capitals. The Canes took care of the Islanders in 5. And what was a more dangerous 5-game series and was led on, collapsed leads and whatnot. The Islanders Islandered. No offense, Pat. In this spot, both teams basically haven't played for a week. The Rangers have literally not played since last Sunday night. Islanders Canes, I believe, was that Monday or Tuesday was the last time we saw the Hurricanes take the ice. So these are 2 well-rested teams. The Hurricanes are the Stanley Cup favorite. The Rangers not far behind them. Both of these teams, the Rangers have the President's Trophy. They have home ice. You could make the case these are the 2 best teams in hockey, and they happen to be matching up because of the stupid divisional bracket format here in round 2. When you take that all into account, why on earth would I assume that this series is going to be a short one? You shouldn't. That's stupid. It's idiotic. In fact, game 7s in hockey are like peanut butter and jelly. They go together far too often. The Rangers and Hurricanes played a 7-game series in round 2 just 2 years ago. This will be a hard-fought series one way or another, and this is not me waving the Ranger pom-poms. Ultimately, do I think the Rangers will win the series? Yes. But I also understand that in NHL postseasons, deflected shots and weird tips off skates can be everything and anything and can alter something, even if the, in theory, more deserving team doesn't advance. I expect this to be tightly contested. I say this all to say, you don't have to like the Rangers or Hurricanes on a series price to profit here. Right now, simply, no matter who wins, the series to go 7 games is plus 200. That's my hot cake here. I absolutely envision this being a 7-game series. No way do these teams get off scot-free. This screams 7 games. This feels like it's almost too good to be true on that good of odds. I know it's just simply doubling your money, but seriously, for a series that should be this way, that was this way 2 years ago, plus 200, my hot cake is just go rush and bet that ticket now. I already have. Don't even have to have a rooting interest in Game 7. You just need to get there. Plus 200, my hot cake on Rangers Canes going 7.
And Shawnee, you know your Rangers, more importantly, your Rags.
They're not the Rags. They're the Rangers.
They're the Rags. From Rags to Rangers, from Rangers to Rags. They love playing Game 7s, right? I mean, they love it. They love it. They love it more than I like. I was going to say something that I probably shouldn't have said on the air, so I bit my tongue. They like playing Game 7s. And everything that comes to my mind
they're
is things
Pat, perfect example. Here's how you know the Rangers like playing Game 7s. They have been in the playoffs a lot over the last 20 years. That first round versus the Capitals was the first 4-game sweep the New York Rangers have had in the postseason in 17 years. They never dispose of teams easily, and they finally did. So why would I think there's going to be some kind of easy series one way or another in round 2? There isn't going to be. This is going to be a long one, man.
Well, yeah, what I was going to say, and I just, had just bad, not for air thoughts enter my headspace, was that the last 2 prior seasons for the Rangers, 4 playoff series, 3 of them went 7, the other one went 6. 7 against the Devils last year in the first round, 7 against the Hurricanes 2 years ago, like you mentioned, 7 against the Penguins, 6 in the conference finals against the Lightning. So maybe this Rangers team is different. I think that was more so just a Capitals team that did not belong in the postseason, that got hot down the stretch, but was never really a contender. And the Rangers took care of business, but I think they go back to being the Rangers that make you sweat and make you live on the seat of your pants. That's the right saying, right? Seat of your pants. And like you said, it's so evenly matched.
I call them cheek tighteners, man. These close, tight series are cheek tighteners.
They are. And like you said, these 2 teams are so evenly matched. Carolina last year, who didn't have Svechnikov, they have him. They added Getzel at the deadline. And I forget the other guy off the top of my head Kuznetsov. They had a Kuznetsov as well at the deadline. So they are a stacked team. But the Rangers, like you said, they won the President's Trophy. This just feels like 7. And the fact that you get it plus 200, Shawnee, I'm liking your bets that you're spitting out today, man. I'm a big fan of yours.
Pat, I've always been a big fan of yours. It's really nice to be able to work here in this betting space every single Sunday and just have fun. Have fun with your bets. That's what I say. Have fun with your bets. Couple other quick notes here. Most bet tickets for the Rangers Hurricanes on the player props. Seth Jarvis to score a goal today, plus 290. I mean, he's been a nuisance to the Rangers for Carolina. Not a terrible bet. Mika Zibanejad to score the first goal, plus 1,500. He shoots a ton. If the Rangers get an early power play, those are really juicy odds. And Igor Shesterkin over 28.5 saves at minus 115. Again, not terrible, especially if this ends up being a ping pong match back and forth. Shesterkin's been awesome. Ultimately, by the way, I think Shesterkin is the reason the Rangers will find a way to win this series. They have the goaltending advantage, I think, which is enormous. And Shesterkin makes so many plays happen down the ice in the offensive zone by being able to pass with his stick the way he does. A really good utilized tool for the Rangers. I will have an anytime goal scorer included in my Sunday Scaries coming up at the end. By the way, Stars and Golden Knights Game 7. I should give away those. The most bet tickets on player props in that game. Mark Stone to score a goal, plus 333. Mark Stone to score the first goal, plus 1,800. And Jake Ettinger over 25.5 saves at minus 125. Those are your big player props. You get that game tonight at Game 7 tonight. After a 4 o'clock Game 1 between the Rangers and Hurricanes. And, of course, the Bruins take out the Maple Leafs in 7. And also, I know it's hockey, right? Now, we're on a betting network, so anything goes, right? We could bet NASCAR, bet horse racing, or whatever. If we really cared enough, and there were enough casual sports fans that cared about the sport of the NHL, man, the Toronto Maple Leafs make what the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Jets, insert choke artist franchise here.
The Lakers
look like the Lakers. It makes them look like nothing. I mean, the Maple Leafs, think about this. They are the Cowboys of Canada. They can't sniff a Stanley Cup. They haven't been in one in my freaking lifetime. I'm 20 years away from having grandkids at this point. The Maple Leafs stink. And to take that lead and immediately cough it right back and then have a bounce go against them. And the Bruins were begging to choke themselves. What a pathetic organization the Maple Leafs are. And here I was like a loser, betting them on the money line entering overtime last night because I was getting plus odds. Betting the game to go to double overtime. I am an absolute loser for betting the Maple Leafs last night. And any of you are losers for ever trusting this team. Mitch Marner, Jonathan Tavares, your sister's ass. They stink.
I like that you full named him, but yes, as an Islander fan myself, seeing John Tavares win one playoff series in 9 years as an Islander, and now seeing him with his freaking Maple Leafs bed sheets, might as well have had a pacifier in his mouth, the big baby that he is. I've always wanted to go home. I just wanted to go home, and he's won one playoff series in 6 years now with the Leafs. Yeah, loser indeed. Jonathan Tavares. You want to full name him? So yes, Sean, I did. Now that I know that you had Leafs money line live, that makes me a little sad, but it doesn't even compare to the happiness that I feel as an Islander fan, where he scorned us to go home to Toronto, and he's won as many playoff series as he did with the Islanders. So always happy to see Tavares and the Leafs go home early, and they've done it yet again. They're choke artists, like you said. They're like the Cowboys. All this greatness, this history that they have. And yet for this entire century, they have done nada. They've done ungats.
Ungats. Now, I will say, personally speaking, Canada also wins and loses in Toronto in this regard. Number one, any Maple Leaf fan that wakes up this morning disgusted, guess what? You have the privilege of going to a Tim Hortons within a mile of your house. Not everybody in America gets that. And those Timbits, by golly, Miss Molly, that sour cream donut, I love it. So shout out to you guys. You get Tim Hortons. Now, the negative is, when you're looking for a good beer snack late after that, poutine is very overrated and stinks, and it's not very good in Toronto. We have this thing in America called cheese fries where we don't need cheese curds melted. We need just cheese melted. I don't want to bite into a hunk of cheese that squeaks over a French fry and then dip it in gravy. Canada just off. They're always off with something. They're off with the Maple Leafs, and they're off with the poutine. Just give me an Aussie cheese fry from the Outback, guys. Why are you overthinking this thing? Just regular cheese, not the curds. I'm sorry, Canada stinks.
I got to push back on you there. I'm a big cheese curd
guy.
No,
don't tell me you're a curd guy. Don't tell me that.
Curds are not turds. Curds are not turds.
Oh, they're turds.
No, curds are an elite experience. And I spent a summer playing baseball in the Northwest and in Canada, all the way up in Thunder Bay, near Lake Superior. So up there. And Yeah, the poutine I can agree. Cheese and gravy over, fries, not as great as it's cracked up to be. But the folks in Canada, there's some great people. They are some of the nicest people I've ever met. Now that doesn't make up for them having lackluster food, but the cheese curd is way more of an elite snack and food than the French fry. I got to say that, Shawnee. If I could import cheese curds from Wisconsin every day of my life, I would. They're better than French fries.
They're not. They're not. Another bad take from Pat Boyle, but that's why you come here every Sunday from 9 to noon. It's BetQL's 5-star weekend presented by BetMGM. GTFO, or oh yeah, like that take on curds. Next. Here.
BetQL 5-star weekend will be back on the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM. Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
I love peanut butter. I love the peanut butter. I love the peanut butter, peanut butter, peanut butter.
Peanut butter. He loves peanut butter. He loves peanut butter. No jelly.
You're damn right, bro.
In peanut form.
I love peanut butter. So I spent that entire commercial break trying to order peanut butter, custom peanut butters, because I love peanut butter on rice cakes. You know, hot cakes, hot takes, peanut butter rice cakes. Oh, yeah. All right, it's 11:20. Nobody cares about my peanut butter preferences. But you do care about GTFO or Oh Yeah, which is a game we're going to play right now.
It's now time for GTFO or Oh Yeah.
All right, the game is simple. We read a statement and we say GTFO or Oh Yeah with an explanation. Usually at some point, Pat will get to a question and go, Shawnee, I want to throw this one by you here because I want to hear how you feel off of it. So we'll get that at some point. That was my
Yeah,
Pat
well,
Boyle
sorry that I
indication.
don't like you teeing up every single question. You know, I'd like you to give a response once in a while. And, you know, you do a great job driving the show, but when it comes to GTF or Oh Yeah, I feel like a panelist on the hot seat. Yeah, I'm getting peppered with questions.
You know what? You're going now. You get to read every one.
All right, you want me to drive the segment?
Drive
you think
the
I
segment.
can't drive? You think I
No,
can't
I know
drive?
you can
Think
drive.
I'm not,
I know
you
you
think
can
I'm
drive.
not licensed to drive this segment? You think I won't get behind the wheel and rip 90 right down the freeway?
You know what? Good practice next week, Fatso, because I'm not here.
I'm fat now? Why am I fat?
Because you got beefcakes.
Yes, but that kind of does hurt. Now I see why you get upset if people say call you fat. But I'm not actually fat. Like the proof's in the pudding. I'm not fat. Stop calling me fat. Don't call me fat.
Is the proof in the pudding? Okay.
Okay, GTF or Oh Yeah. Shawnee, I want to throw one by you. All right, let's start. Now, Patty Boyle's going to be driving GTF or Oh Yeah. This segment, the ratings are about to go through the roof. By the way, Mario's asking, whose car are we taking? If I'm driving, we're taking Thunderbird, T-Bird 1978 with some flame decals going down the side. I mean, this is some Evil Knievel stuff. We're really about to drive this segment right into a
I would let you borrow my Range
fire.
Rover. I figured you'd want to borrow my Range Rover.
You drive a Range Rover?
Yeah, man. I got tinted windows now and everything.
Wow, you really are a Long Island douche.
I'm just kidding. I'm a Nissan-centric kind of guy. All right.
Here we go. Let's get cracking here on GTFO or Oh Yeah.
All right.
And Sean,
we're waiting for you.
A former player on your favorite basketball team. We have seen the Kevin Durant World Tour go up in flames the last couple of years.
Bring him back.
And now with the Phoenix Suns looking desperately into the abyss here. Bradley Beal, $50+ million contract on their hands. Devin Booker's contract, Supermax contract extension has kicked in. He's making $50+ million a year. And I believe Kevin Durant is right around $50 million a year as well. So those three together eating up a huge chunk of that salary cap. That is no bueno for new owner Matt Ishbia. So let me ask you, GTFO or Oh Yeah, Kevin Durant will be traded by the NBA trade deadline next season.
How do I not say Oh Yeah? How do I not? His track record tells me he will be. Now, the return on their investment, remember, the Suns, if they tank this thing, don't even have these picks. The Nets will have their picks after next year basically forever, which is good for a team in Brooklyn. But yeah, Kevin Durant is like some of your mom's ex-boyfriends. They don't stay for long. So I'm going to go, Oh Yeah, he will be traded by the deadline next year. You?
Okay, I'm going to say GTFO. I'm going to say that they will.
Well, here's the thing. Hold on. Before I got to take a timeout. I'm going to guess you're going to say it's more likely Devin Booker gets traded, to which I would say if Devin Booker gets traded, you think Durant's staying around?
I mean, sooner or later, he's got to stay in one spot, right? I mean, how many more places can he keep pinballing around to?
Everyone. At this point, he has no lineage to anybody.
I would agree, but I think when, you consider that Devin Booker is still somewhat in the prime of his career, you can get way more of a haul for him than you can get to Kevin Durant.
That's a different question.
But I'm saying I don't think Kevin Durant's going to be traded. I think it would be Devin Booker more so than anything else. So I'm saying GTFO. Kevin Durant won't be traded because I think the Suns, if they do make a trade, I mean, look, they're not getting rid of Bradley Beal. Nobody's taking on Bradley Beal unless the Phoenix Suns, hold them hostage in a dark cave somewhere with a shotgun to their head. So I think it's more likely that they say, all right, we need to do a little mini reset on the franchise here. Let's keep Kevin Durant around for a couple years, but let's see if we can just totally reset outside of that and get everything we can back for Devin Booker. And I think that's a possibility. Okay. And we move on.
Let's go to questions.
Sticking with the NBA and teams that have big-time superstars that have won championships before but are now already on their way to Cancun, and that's the Milwaukee Bucks. We saw them fire their head coach, Adrian Griffin, after a really good start to the season, and then Doc Rivers basically told everybody, you, me, and Mary Jane, he said, look, we're not going to win. I don't know why I took this job. I don't know why you guys hired me. We will not win. He literally told you flat out to your face they were not going to win, and then he delivered on that promise. It's pretty impressive. They were a 500 basketball team since he took over, and, Giannis, once again, hurt in the first round, doesn't play a single game in that series. Dame gets hurt, does everything he can when he did play, but the Bucks get knocked out in 6 games by the Pacers. So now they've got Dame and Giannis. They've got Doc Rivers. Sean, GTFO or oh yeah, the Bucks need to run it back with Dame and Giannis.
Oh, this is an oh yeah. You can't just do this for 1 year. And they did get hurt. That Giannis injury was a big deal. I really believe they would have beaten the Pacers if he didn't have the calf injury. Yes, it was clunky. I didn't like the firing and then bringing in of Doc Rivers. Everything was not smooth. And clearly they missed Drew Holiday in the defensive end. But you cannot give that a 1-year window of Dame and Giannis, knowing the injuries happen, and not try that for a second year. I think both those guys got to be back. And by the way, I think the Bucks will be pretty damn good next year if they are healthy.
Okay. Why don't you? You've known my thoughts on this. I said at the beginning of the show about the Timberwolves and the Nuggets, the winner of that series. I think they're going.
Wait, hold on. You didn't give an answer. You didn't give an answer.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree with you. Oh, yeah, the Bucks need to run it back with Dame and Giannis. Like you said, this isn't just a 1-year experiment now. Should they run it back with a different head coach? Probably, but you don't fire Adrian Griffin and keep Doc Rivers for half a season. So just out of, necessity of needing to try it for a full season, yes, they need to run it back with Dame, Giannis, and Doc Rivers. I'll even throw him into the equation. And I would say I agree with you. Those two fully healthy. And, again, that's the question, though. Can Giannis now, hurt in the last 2 playoffs, hurt, I believe, in 3 out of the last 5. Can he stay healthy come the postseason? But, I look at what the Dallas Mavericks did last year when they made that desperate trade for Kyrie Irving and it blew up in their faces and they didn't even make the playoffs last year. Look how much better of a team they are now with Kyrie and Luka working in tandem with one another. Look at how the chemistry they have built. So a full season with Dame and Giannis, despite the defensive, inferiorities that they possess as a team with Damian Lillard, getting Drew Holiday out of there and him joining Boston, I do think that with a full year of chemistry, they could be a title contender next year. Sticking with the NBA playoffs again, I gave you my answer on this before, so Sean, I want to hear it from you, and I think that you have also somewhat given an answer on this, but for the folks that may have not been listening in the 9 a.m. Eastern hour, hit the Odyssey app, use that rewind feature. You can listen to any part of the show here that me and Sean were on the air 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern on BetQL 5-Star Weekend. If the Timberwolves make it past the Nuggets, they will win the NBA title. GTFO or oh yeah?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I hesitate to say it because I still believe the Nuggets are going to win this series and win the title, but I think this has now become the pseudo-NBA Finals. Put it this way. Anthony Edwards, diehard NBA fans realized who he was, obviously right at the top of the lottery. This is becoming the spring of Anthony Edwards and the more prominent games the Minnesota Timberwolves play. I just have a hard time thinking that Anthony Edwards is going to do all of this, upend the defending champs, take him out in the second round. And I know your thoughts on the Thunder, and I agree they're a great team. If Anthony Edwards does this and looks like the guy, the story ends with him winning a championship this year. So I'm going, oh yeah.
Okay, and I disagree because I do think the Thunder are coming out of the West, and I hope that the Nuggets and the T-Wolves beat each other up in a Game 7, while the Thunder, who by the way on BetMGM are only a very slight favorite against the Dallas Mavericks. I think that is just Luka Doncic, name, image, and likeness carrying the Mavericks. to being a slight underdog in that series. The Thunder minus 120. I like that. And I like the Thunder to go to the NBA Finals. So I disagree with you once again there. All right, a little bit outside the lines here, literally and metaphorically. GTFO or oh yeah, as we've now got a Roast of Tom Brady special coming up. I believe that is what, next weekend? GTFO or oh yeah, enough with the roast shows like the Roast of Tom Brady. GTFO or oh yeah.
So I'm going to go GTFO, but also the caveat, I had no idea there was a Roast of Tom Brady coming up. Like, not a single, I haven't heard a thing about it, have zero clue about it, and I work in sports radio. So you guys are actually breaking news to me. I laughed my ass off at the Comedy Central roast forever, and maybe this is a personal thing, but I'm not watching roasts every week, every 2 weeks. I may watch a roast every 6 months. So they've never gotten played out for me, and I've laughed my ass off at every one. I was unaware of a Tom Brady roast, though, so I don't want to sound too naive.
Wow. And you know what? That's actually tonight. That is tonight, live.
Wow.
Live and unedited on Netflix, only on Netflix tonight. And I guess it will be available to watch after it ends, but it is live, unedited on Netflix tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. So if you're not into the Vegas Golden Knights Dallas Stars Game 7, which I will be, you will be, so I will be not watching it live. I'll be watching it after that. But I'm going to watch it. How many roast, like you said, unless you're watching a roast how many roasts have we have? When is the actual last roast that we have? So it's Brady. I would like to see people say mean things about a guy that has basically had a perfect life for his entire life now, outside of his wife divorcing him. But even then, he's probably still hooking up with 10s, 11s, and 12s as far as the eye can see. I'd like to see Tom Brady have some mean things said about him and make fun of him. I'm definitely going to watch this. And, again, just maybe I've been out of the loop on the roasts. I can't remember the last one we had.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I've watched all those Comedy Central ones, and they're all like escaping me now. I think Alec Baldwin, Trump, we've had them. Just real quickly too, Netflix. Look, not for nothing, man. I've got 50 million streaming services on top of paying for DirecTV. You stopped your password sharing. You made a business decision. I have not returned as an unpaying customer since. I have not created my own account. I got Max. I got Prime. I got Hulu. I got Peacock. I got every single one. Netflix has left my household for a good 8 months, and I got news for you. I have not missed it one bit. And I was a big Ozark guy, you guy, all that stuff. I loved funny people. Netflix has not gotten me back, and you're not getting me back for a Brady roast. Take a hike.
Wow. Slamming the hammer down on Netflix. I would agree with you. Finally, my roommate has a girlfriend, and she doesn't use it that often. So I think, again, it tracks where you last watched it, but based off your location. But since she only uses it every couple of days, we've been able to use her account. They have
nice.
cracked down on the password sharing, but still trying to find a way to cut the corners. Yes, I refuse to give them $9 a month, whatever it would be. I refuse.
Not happening. For another British murder documentary, I'm good.
All right, GTFO or oh yeah, the Knicks and Pacers will go 7 games, which, by the way, plus 230 odds that series goes 7.
So this is so stupid because I told you I think the series is going either 6 or 7. So I guess I have to say GTFO because I think there's a strong chance the series goes 6. But I don't like the wording of this question. I think this is going to be a long series. I don't necessarily even hate that bet at whatever it was, plus 290. But if I say, oh yeah, and it goes 6, I'm a loser on this. And I think it's very capable that this series is Knicks winning it 4-2. So I guess it's GTFO by default.
All right, that's a big shot at producer Mario Heron for the wording of that question. And Sean basically putting some topsoil on Mario for the wording of that one.
It's not even. Because, if you're asking me, do I think it's a fun, good bet? Yes. So, if that's the question, so yeah. But I can't go, yes, the series is going 7, oh yeah. That's a GTFO for me. But I can see it going 7. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. It's just it doesn't fit the game.
Yeah, and how about round 1? This is we only have one game 7, correct? Cavs Magic today, the only game 7 of the entire first round.
In the least appealing series. Think about that. The least appealing first round series we got in terms of, checking out a chick in her bikini, if it was an NBA series, was Magic Cavs. It was basically the third kid in Grown Ups from Rob Schneider. That's the version that this series was. And it went 7 games.
All right, last one here in 30 seconds or less, Shawnee. GTFO or oh yeah. Sprinkle a little on Jordan Love for MVP, plus 1,400 odds.
A little, sure. But at some point, you could convince me to sprinkle a little on like 7 different guys, and then where am I really profiting on MVP? So just consider that before betting futures markets on MVP. Really, really boil down, because you don't want to just make a hit for it to pay for all the other bets you made on MVP. Patty, boil it down. But Jordan Love, I'm on the Jordan Love train. I like them. I expect them to take the next big steps. And if you like them at over 10.5 wins, that would tell me Love would be in the MVP conversation, right? So I'm in on the sprinkle.
Yeah, how about that? All right, that was a good segment, and I drove it. So there you go. I just drove us to the promised land. And I'm going to drive us to break, and I'm going to drive us coming back. We've got our best bets. We've got a Sunday Scaries parlay from Shawnee, plus 5,700 odds. I got a Boyle's beef bet. We got a little degeneration bets coming up. The final segment. Get your tickets. Get your fingers ready. Twitter fingers, sportsbook fingers, winning fingers. Chicken fingers. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Plenty of winners coming up next to finish the show. Sean Marash, Pat Boyle, BetQL 5-Star Weekend here on the BetQL Network.
I'll be right back. I thought you were driving, Pat.
Oh, I can drive. Welcome back. Beautiful people in North America. This is BetQL 5-Star Weekend. I'm Pat Boyle. He's Sean Marash. Great job today by Mario Heron, Dan Turner, and Double D. Beautiful old Western villain named Dan Dykstra. Spitting tobacco and firing off pistols. Shawnee has done a jersey change. He has gotten out of the Mark Messier jersey, and he has gotten himself into a different jersey that I can't tell just by the alternate captain. Turn it around, Shawnee. Let's see that beautiful big body of yours.
Yeah,
Now he's lost his headphones. Now I just see his ass. Nope, I can only see your ass. You got to stand up straighter, but crouch down a little bit. Crouch down a little bit, by the way. This is all on Twitch. No, it's just straight ass cheeks. Twitch.tv/BetQL. Is that a step-on jersey? That looks like a step-on jersey. So he's got the step-on jersey on. He's now wiping. Oh, that is a cheek. We have a cheek out. If you're watching on Twitch, I apologize. We've got cheeks out from Sean. And now he's off the screen. The cheeks came out. We got a beautiful full moon here on a Sunday morning. My goodness, this is what you come to BetQL for. You come for the entertainment, and you come for Sean's. I'm not even going to finish that sentence because that would need a gigantic pause. All right. Shawnee has settled himself back in. He's done a jersey swap. My beef bet, by the way, is going to involve that Rangers game. That's coming up. Sean's Sunday Scaries parlay, where he tries to give you a big-time lotto rocket ship hit. But we always start the final segment of the show off by getting back in touch with our true degenerate selves. It's Degeneration Bets.
I might be a year older. I might be a little grayer. But at the end of the day, I'm still a degenerate.
All right, well, Sean figures out how to work the unmute button that he's still muted. And now he seems in total disarray here. I'm going to give you my degeneration bet. And this is like a weekly thing now where for me, I love to bet on tennis. I'm a big tennis watcher. I love to play tennis. So for me, this isn't the generation bets, but I realize for a lot of folks it is. So here you go. You got one match today on the men's side. I think really one match in general in tennis today that's worth paying attention to. That's not on like the minor league tours. And that is the men's Madrid Masters final. We are, by the way, 3 weeks away from the French Open, which this is the only show you want to lock into for your French Open Grand Slam tennis bets. I know that's when a lot of folks really pay attention to tennis, is the 4 Grand Slams, the 4 majors of the year. But you got a big one today in the final, and you got Andre Rublev versus, here's this name, Felix Auger-Aliassime, the French-Canadian, in the final. I think this is going under the game. The total game's 22.5. This is one of the fastest, if not the fastest, clay court that is on the men's tennis circuit. So, this is one where the overs hit a little bit more than usual, but I just think this is going to be more or less a rout for Andre Rublev, who has been the better player this year. He has been the better player this week. He is coming off back-to-back wins of Carlos Alcaraz, who everybody knows, and then the top-ranked American man, Taylor Fritz. The last 4 sets, he has just been absolutely dominant. He's serving out of his mind. He is returning well. So I think this is one-way traffic. Now, but I am taking the under here because Rublev to win 2-0 to sweep him is also minus 120. And, I get the same odds on that. Or the off chance. All right, Sean, we hear you now, or at least I hear you.
Oh.
So you basically get the same odds that Rublev wins in straight sets or that the under hits. Okay, I'll take the cushion that I could possibly be dead wrong on this and that Felix wins it in straight sets. So with that in mind, I'm going to take the under 22.5 minus 105. I think this is a pretty routine, quick match. So there you go, Shawnee. There's your DGen tennis bet of the week from Patty Boyle. Now,
it was a great,
I think we
great
have
one,
you.
Pat.
You're back. You're locked in. You're good to go.
Great one, Pat. I think my butt knocked out my mic cord earlier as I was trying to show you a Derek Stepan jersey. Not sure if anybody picked that up. I made a switch to that. Okay. Good degeneration bet. Love Rublev here. I mean, how do you not? Okay. With that, my degeneration bet comes off of last night watching a Game 7 go to overtime between the Leafs and Bruins. I laid out earlier in the show why I think betting the Ranger-Hurricane series at 7 games at plus 200 is good odds. Well, how about this? If you like that, you might as well go the extra mile. Plus 1,200 Rangers-Hurricanes right now you can find on sports books. Game 7 and overtime in Game 7 at plus 1,200. Now, that is really DGen going the extra mile, fast-forwarding the whole series to think we're going to need extra time in the final game of the series. That's my DGen bet. And again, look, if you like the series to go to 7, if that was already your bet, as it is my bet, why not upping the ante from plus 200, sprinkle a little on plus 1,200, that when you get to that spot, it goes to overtime for 2 evenly matched teams. I like that from a degeneration look, Patty.
Yeah, I feel like as a Ranger fan, more so than anything else, I feel like you are very nervous, very cautiously optimistic about this series. I think you see it going 7. I think you're destined to believe it's going 7. So, sometimes nobody knows your team's better than you. And you think this is going Game 7 OT, the distance of all distances. I like that. That is one that's going to take 2 weeks about to pay off, though. But, hey, all that matters is if you have the win in the account, whether it's now or 2 weeks from now. Sometimes that's all that matters.
And by the way, I won't be with you again until the morning after Game 7. So that's why I'm putting it in now.
Yes, so may the 4th be with you. May the Sean be with you in 2 weeks from now. Yes, you are off next weekend. I am off the weekend after that. So these two beautiful faces that you might be watching right now on twitch.tv/BetQL, you're not going to see them together for 2 weeks after this.
So maybe a Memorial Day weekend, right? Jeez, how about that? Okay.
You got a Sunday Scaries?
Oh, yeah, let's go. Sunday Scaries. No, let's go.
Sunday Scaries. Shawnee's got a big parlay.
Let's go. Let's go.
The weekend is almost over, but there's still time to place just one more bet. Don't panic. There's still time to win it all back. It's time for the Sunday Scaries.
All right, usually 5 legs, 6 legs, 7 legs, 8 legs, octopuses on everybody's face. Not today, pal. 4 legs, but great odds. 4 legs, great odds is your Sunday Scary. Why, Sean? Why are the great odds? Well, I'm also going to give you 2 anytime goal scorers in the NHL. So you're getting plus 5,718. So basically 57 to 1 odds on 4 legs. Here we go. You ready? Here's your 2 NBA hits. Donovan Mitchell, 25 or more points. Me and Patrick have been all over this all morning long. Donovan Mitchell, expect Spider to have a big game. Tip it off in about an hour and 10 minutes. Also, for the Cavs, Max Strus, 3 or more threes in this game. They're going to make it rain. I think Max hits a couple there from the corner. Give me Max Strus 3 or more threes. Those are your 2 NBA legs, your 2 hockey legs. I'm going to give you an anytime goal scorer in both games today. Vincent Trocheck, which I think is at plus 220 on a standalone spot, scored 2 goals in the first series, has been crashing the net. Former Carolina Hurricane as well, was on the Hurricanes 2 years ago when they lost to the Rangers in this very spot. Give me Vincent Trocheck anytime goal scorer in this game. And Mr. Golden Knight, Mr. Big goal scorer. Everybody's going to be on Stone. Your sister's asked that. Give me William Karlsson as an anytime goal scorer in a Game 7 tonight. If I get a Trocheck and Karlsson goal scorer combined with Donovan Mitchell dropping 25 or more and Max Strus at 3 or more threes, it's only 4 legs I'm asking for, and I'm getting 57 to 1 plus 5,718 odds exactly. It's already been placed. There's your Sunday Scary, Patty Boyle.
Tasty, Patty likey. Okay, we usually wrap up the show with a bet that I usually place with emotion rather than logic and rationale, which sometimes we all do as bettors. And sometimes they're good bets. Sometimes you make bets with your heart rather than your head, and they burn you. But nonetheless, I'm going to give you a bet that a lot of the times is rooted in anger and hate. Also, at other times, it's betting against my own team, like I did many times with the Islanders, because I hate them, and they raise my blood pressure watching them, and they did that last series against the Carolina Hurricanes. But then there's times like today where I find myself wanting to bet on teams I do not like. And I'm angry at myself, but I think this is using more head than heart. But my heart would hate my head for making this pick. But my head's telling my heart to shut up. So why don't we go ahead and make that pick? It's Boyle's beef bet.
Pat Boyle's Beef Bet of the Week. I'm angry. I'm ready. I need to bet. It's Pat Boyle's Beef Bet of the Week on the Bet.
One of the best series of the NHL playoffs, Shawnee. You think it's going Game 7 overtime. I think this is going to be extraordinary. I think the winner of this series goes to the Stanley Cup Finals and probably wins the Stanley Cup this year. Hurricanes and your New York Rangers. And as an Islander fan, I hate myself that I have to watch the team that has eliminated my Islanders 3 out of the past 5 years, the Hurricanes, against the team that I hate probably more so than any other team in professional sports. As a Knicks fan, I don't really hate the Nets, right? And as a Nets fan, I think you understand that. It's big brother, little brother comparison. But Islanders, Rangers, there's nothing that really hits more than that. And I can't believe that I'm going to put money on the New York Rangers today, Sean, but they are a slight underdog at home for Game 1 against the Hurricanes, minus 105 on the money line on BetMGM. Give me the Rangers. I don't want to hear about how the Hurricanes are going to dominate them 5-on-5, and whether it's Pyotr Kochetkov in the goal or Freddie Anderson, whatever Rob Brindamore wants to cook up here. The Rangers at home, Game 1. If they get on the power play, they're going to crush them. I'm spiking my mic levels, and I hate myself that I'm betting the Rangers. But here we go. Give me the Blue Shirts to take Game 1 at home as a slight dog. They're a slight dog in the series. I think they grab Game 1 at home today.
Let's go, Rangers. All right, Pat. We got a Game 1 sandwiched between 2 Game 7s, an NBA 1 here, tip it off in an hour, an NHL 1 tonight. Pat, I'm out next week. You're out the week after. We were all together again, 5-Star Weekend, Memorial Day weekend. Thanks to Mario Aaron. Thanks to Dan Turner. Thanks to Kenny mixing and matching. And thank you to all you listeners, viewers. It wasn't Kenny today. Who was it? All right.
David
well,
Dyke.
then Mario needs... All right, Danny, sorry. Mario needs to change the rundown for me. But that's neither here nor there. Off to Disneyland I go. Lenny Dykstra's son, David, on the board. All right. Take care, everybody. Keep it locked on BetQL throughout the day. God bless your bets. Later.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.